Hi, I'm Troidal Power, host of Troidal Power Presents the Power Playthroughs podcast with Troidal Power. It's an audio-only Let's Play podcast where I play video games and tell you about them. It's like Twitch for your ears. You can find Troidal Power Presents the Power Playthroughs podcast with Troidal Power on probablywork.com, geek2geekmedia.com, or you can look for me on Patreon to sponsor an episode. Troidal Power Presents the Power Playthroughs podcast with Troidal Power. Let's play video games.
Hey, Nick from Showboys here, and I want to invite you to become a member of the Showboys Discord. Our Discord is the one-stop shop for all things Showboys, from announcements to fun conversations, and of course, memes. Come get to know the Showboys staff and our growing community of pop culture fanatics. We have something for just about anyone.
Hey, Mike here from Showboys. We're excited to bring you Showboys Gaming, a YouTube channel created for you to enjoy our exclusive gaming content. Anything from live streams to gaming videos will be found here. Go subscribe now so you don't miss out on any Showboys gaming content.
Hi, my name is Civ, and I'm a proud partner of the Showboys stream team. I'm what you call a variety streamer. What that means is I play a bunch of different styles of games. From platformers and shooters, to fighters and survival horror. We rarely play the same games twice, and it's normally a game I don't know anything about. What this means for you is fresh and interesting content, live on the regular. And if you're the kind of person who prefers to watch at their leisure, we have a YouTube channel where we upload content daily. I mean, with so many options, why haven't you joined the civilization yet?
Oh my god, I love that.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Oh man, that was crazy. That was so cool.
That
I
was
loved that
that
so
was
much.
awesome. That's the debut of the Pokemon theme song remix that my friend Jeff helped me do for a little project we'll probably talk about in a few minutes. But yeah, I'm glad you guys liked it.
Oh my gosh.
It was very, I was just jamming out the whole time.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, this is great. This is a vibe. I'm here for it.
Oh man. So funny story. We have like a new updated version of that little ad block that plays at the beginning of the episode. And that was our old one because I haven't uploaded the new one to like this broadcast studio and StreamYard. So yeah. Troidal Power's in there. Shout out
Nice.
Troy. Biosiv's high when he jumps in on his, like, gets me every time. He's like,
I know, it's precious. Hi.
yes.
That's great.
Yeah, welcome to the Showboys podcast. My name's Mike, and as you may have noticed, my two usual partners in crime are not here tonight. We've given them a deserved night off, and instead I'm joined by Peaceloveames, who We introduced you guys a couple weeks ago. How you doing tonight, Amy?
Pretty good, pretty excited.
Yes, very excited. And also joining us is Jared from the Play Along podcast. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome. I'm so excited to talk about Pokemon.
Yes.
It's always a good time when that's the topic.
Yes. So these are some good friends of mine, and we all share a borderline obsessive love for Pokemon.
Yeah,
And I don't think any of us are ashamed to admit that.
Nah,
I think
Nope.
we're
not at
all
all.
pretty proud.
Nope.
But yes. So we will be chatting Pokemon Legends Arceus. Like this is straight up probably going to be full of a ton of spoilers. So now's your warning.
All the spoilers.
Yes.
All of them.
We're gonna
All of them.
be giving our review of the game, and then I'm sure we'll talk about our experience playing it. We've all put an ungodly amount of hours into this game already. So I'm excited to get into that. But first, I wanted to shout out and thank our top tier patrons, Tim B and Yusuf H. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means the world to us. And yes, you have our undying love. If anyone out there is interested in becoming a patron, you can head over to patreon.com/showboyspodcast. And for as little as $1 a month, you could help support the podcast. We have 4 different tiers full of different perks and rewards. Go check it out. And if you're able to sign up today, that would be awesome. If you're not in a position to be able to support us financially, we're just glad you're here watching or listening. So if you like what you hear, please consider subscribing or liking or following, rating, reviewing, etc., etc., etc. We also have a merch shop. Link is in the episode description. And yeah, hope check it out. Get a cool Showboys hoodie or coffee mug or something. Yes. One thing also before we started, before we came into the episode, looking at the art there, we have the 3 Pokeballs with our little heads poking out.
Super
And I was
cool.
wondering, I was like, okay, if those are your 3 starters, you have to choose.
Oh no. Wait,
Who would you choose?
what typings are we though?
I don't know.
That's a big factor if you're picking.
That
Big
is.
question.
Biosip says, "Woo, gonna be a fun one tonight." I sure hope so. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. You didn't hear us talking about your little ad, did you?
It was great.
It was
I
great.
loved it.
The high, I'm telling you, it gets me every time.
It's
I
all
love it.
downhill from here.
Yeah.
No cash.
Let's see what typings would we? What typing would you consider
Oh,
yourself,
man.
Jared?
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna say I love steel types. I feel like they're underrated. And not a lot of people love. I'm gonna go steel. Mine's gonna be steel type.
Nice.
so
Okay. What
pick
about
me.
you, Amy?
I mean, my favorite is Dragon type, but that's never going to be a starter,
Ooh.
unfortunately. But I would
That'd
say
be cool, though.
second favorite, Fire.
Fire. It
Okay,
goes with the
okay.
hair.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
got that. We'll just say based off of my lighting and my tie-dye hoodie, I'll say I'm a fairy type.
Ooh.
No.
I don't know.
Some good options here.
Yeah,
It's
I
a pretty
low-key
good typing
like-
to start. Steel and Fairy are both really
Yeah,
good typings to start the
I'm
game
not
with.
gonna lie, I kind of like the fairy typing. So
And all of them kind of work well together too. It kind of works.
so there you go. You guys can let us know who you'd choose as your starter. Probably none of us, for being real.
That's fair. Can I get a reroll on starters? Is there
Yeah,
other
yeah.
options here? Is there a fourth
Exactly.
option?
Yeah, bad randomizer ROM you just got.
Bummer.
This is when you reset and make a new ROM. You're like, oh
Yes.
no, none of those are good options.
Oh yes. But yeah, we introduced you guys to Amy a couple weeks ago. She's our newest stream team partner. But for those who may be new, just tuning in for the first time, why don't you let the people know what you do, Amy?
Okay, I am pretty new to streaming. I guess I would be a variety streamer. I stream a little bit of, I think I've been streaming Pokemon Legends Arceus because I'm all about that Pokemon life. And anytime there's a Pokemon game, that's probably going to be for the front of my life. But other than that, I stream like Dragon Age. I really like RPGs and Witcher. So I'm kind of branching out into those. Other than that, I'm a nurse in a cath lab. So that's great.
Nice. Well, I will say that I do enjoy your streams, and I'm glad that you're working with us. And if you haven't checked out Peaceloveames on YouTube or Twitch, do so. Subscribe. Go watch one of her streams. She's great.
Thank you.
Jared,
Where's the
why don't you tell everyone what you do over at Play Along Podcast? And what your
Yeah,
show is
so
all
I'm
about.
Yeah. So I'm one of the 3 hosts at Play Along Podcasts. Myself, my co-host Kai, and Ben. We essentially play through games in kind of like a book club format. I've heard other people describe it as like an audio book for games because we don't only talk about our own experiences, but we break down games in their entirety. So what we'll do is each one of us will take turns choosing a game, and then we'll break it up and play through a section of it each week, and then we come together, recant what we did, talk about our feelings, and at the end we recommend the game to you, or we say it's something that you can pass on. But it's a ton of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a super cool concept for a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy it. Yeah, thank you for joining us, both of you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, definitely.
I do have, we mentioned that remix being made for, potentially, well, not potential. It is happening. Just when is the only thing that's up in the air. But yes, Jared and I are going to be bringing you guys, hopefully soon, a Nuzlocke series. We're going to be playing through the 3rd iteration of each generation of the Pokemon games, and we are doing a Lockout series, which is a new form of the Nuzlocke experience. Be looking for that on the Showboys podcast YouTube channel. I will be streaming my end of the recording sessions over on our Facebook page, so go follow over there if you want to just come hang out, get some like behind the scenes stream viewing. We tried to record one session a couple weeks ago, but both on each end our
technical
footage
difficulties everywhere,
was pretty much ruined in different aspects on both sides, because
Oh,
it's kind of useless, but it was a fun time.
Fun regardless.
I'm super excited about it, so be on the lookout for that, hopefully soon.
I think that's awesome.
I'm excited for it.
That's amazing.
So I don't know exactly where I want to start with this, because there's so much.
There's so much.
So much to talk about.
I think, why don't we let's do the review first, and then we'll get into like our experiences and like that stuff. I also want to touch on the Pokemon Day that's coming Sunday, I think.
So excited.
There's some PokeTubers out there that are speculating Arceus DLC, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on that. So I came up with a little review rubric here. So I have 6 categories that we can work through, and we'll go on a like 1 through 5 rating for each category. Hopefully we can like come to a consensus together and pick 1 rating for each category. I'm
going to fight all of you.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's argue.
Yeah. So the categories I picked out here, we have graphics, story, mechanics, replayability, immersiveness / experience, and then last but not least, the fun factor. So that's kind of what we're going to be going through. Nick here on his night off, still watching the podcast. He says, "Hey yo, what's up, buddy? Thanks for tuning in." And BioCiv, holy cow, possible DLC already? I know it's a tad ridiculous.
I'm on board though.
But not even like a little bit done.
So first off, let's just establish the amount of time that we've played already. I was earlier today when I saved, I was a little over 66 hours, and I played a little bit before we got on, so I'm probably maybe around 67 hours played. How much time have you put in, Jared?
I've actually put in 40. I think last time I saved was 45 hours.
Okay. What about you, Ames?
I think when I looked last night, 85.
Nice. I like it because we're kind of like,
We're all
tiered.
like levels of spectrum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I finished the actual story last.
Yes.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Like last night.
That's
that's correct.
That's what makes this game interesting, though. It's just
fresh.
like you can put so many hours into it and have different kinds of experiences.
Yeah.
too.
100%.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but so this review is coming at you from a collective,
Mhm.
180 hours of gameplay, which I think is sufficient to give a
Feels good.
solid review.
Feels good.
It's a good number.
I mean, I think any single one of us has enough time dumped into this to give a good review, like a solid, thorough review. But yeah, let's start it off with everyone's favorite talking point for Arceus, and that would be the graphics. Amy is shaking her head, so I'm gonna let her start.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the graphics here of this 2022 Nintendo Switch entry?
Sure. Well, I guess I should probably start by saying that that's not just like a number one like need for me, especially when it comes to like a Pokemon game. Like I'm not playing this game because I think like it's beautiful. Like it's not that type of game for me. So they're not as important to me as I feel like they could be for some people. That being said, it's a struggle bus. It was a little bit of a struggle bus. Some of those trees, you could see like the 2D planes. They had leaves that went like this, like, but like I said, for me, that is not like. It sometimes feels like people get so distracted by the graphics and like it breaks the immersion. But that was not my case. They were not great, but it wasn't a deterrent or hindrance, in my opinion, to the game. So, I like C. Maybe a C.
Oh no, they're so.
I guess two.
They're so
2 or
bad.
3?
It got a C on a 1 through 5.
That we were supposed to do 1 through 5.
It was so bad that it got a letter instead of a number.
Okay, I'll have like 2.5. Can I do 0.5s?
Okay. Yeah,
there's no
that's
rules here. I mean, there are, but
as long as it's between 1 and 5, I think 2.5 works.
I'm gonna say 2.5.
Okay. What about you, Jared? What are your thoughts?
Oh man, I 100% agree. I think that for myself, graphics in Pokemon games is not necessarily what I'm going for. I love the creatures. I love the story or semblance of a story they try to put together. Those are the things that I love about Pokemon games. I don't really go into it for the graphics necessarily. I think that Legends Arceus has a good art style to it. I think the art style is really cool. I think it's really interesting. I think the colors are really good. But you're right. The graphics to it, the textures and everything are a little rough for a Nintendo Switch game. I mean, we look at things like Super Mario Odyssey or even like Xenoblade and what those kind of things can do, and it seems leaps and bounds away from something like this. I mean, you talked about the trees. It's like the one tree that they copy and pasted throughout the entirety of the game, and it's just like, I can see it on that part. Where I have more issues with is like mechanically, like things that are mechanically wrong with the game. But as for the graphics, I think that they were fine. There was no time when I was playing where I was like, oh, this dirt is bad. I don't want to play this anymore. The graphics couldn't be bad where I would put down the game. It wouldn't happen. Yeah. But I think my rating for it is similar, probably like a 3.5 or so. It's all right, but that's not what I'm going for. That's not, that wasn't the main draw. I didn't see this game like, I only want this because of the graphics. That's the only reason I'm getting it. So.
Yeah.
Realism or bust.
Right. Exactly.
I think there are certain games or certain types of games where graphics are a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person that graphics will, no matter the game or game type, the graphics will always take a back seat to the gameplay.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The game experience being story and gameplay all tied together. To me, graphics are just kind of like the flavor of icing on a cake. Like any icing is good, really, unless for some reason you're eating like some ungodly like licorice flavored icing. Then like
horrible.
Yeah, but like there really isn't a flavor of icing that will prevent me from eating a cake. So like,
Yeah.
graphics will hardly prevent me from
Absolutely.
playing a game, unless unless we're going back and playing like a super old game that's just like physically hard to play or look at because of the graphics, like
Yeah.
maybe some PlayStation 1 games trying to play them now or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's obvious issues with some of the environments, like the trees don't look great. Sometimes like there's weird like seeing through of like hills and rocks and
Yes.
trees when you're like at a certain angle and a battle starts.
Yeah.
But
I remember some of those Pokemon animations that were like
yeah,
from a distance.
yeah, exactly.
And that's what I have a problem with when it's more like performance stuff. When I'm seeing this Crobat in the distance flying at like 2 frames per second,
Exactly,
like,
that's exactly right.
That kind of pulls me out of the experience just a little bit.
What's wrong with that braviary?
Yeah, exactly. I've played probably 80 to 85% of my time in handheld mode, or like this with it just propped up on the desk and using the controller or whatever.
Absolutely.
Hardly have played this docked, but when I have played it docked, it doesn't really look great on a TV. I think probably best utilized in handheld mode.
Absolutely.
I will say there is a redeeming factor to the graphics. Some of the attack animations look amazing.
Like,
oh no,
hyper beam, hydro pump.
Oh my god!
Thunder. Like the first time I got hyper beamed, I was like, "Oh my god, this is like the most amazing thing ever!" I felt
the
like
power of the sun being hard.
These Pokemon are trying to kill each other. What's happening here?
Yes.
I'm like, I felt my skin just melting off my bones, and I'm not even getting hyper beamed.
Right.
But yeah, so some of the moves look super cool. I like how different Pokemon have different animations when they're like headbutting trees or getting new ore. I think that's cool. But for the most part,
did you know that I found this out last night, if you're too close, because you can like move around the battles, right? If you're too close,
you get hit.
Yeah, and that's over. Yeah, Jared actually told me about that because I didn't know that either.
I had no idea.
I wanted it to be like if I stood in the way of my Pokemon, like they take less damage because I'm like sacrificing myself for them or something. But that unfortunately is not the case.
Yeah, in that case, if you did that with the hyper beam, you'd just be disintegrated.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think those abilities, those attack animations, kind of help me overlook some of the sore spots because they're gorgeous. Some of these
and there is like good parts of like the sky, the night sky, or like the daytime sky. It's beautiful. Like that looks great. It's just like there's just some sore spots with like textures on the ground and on the mountains and on the trees and everything. But there's definitely good things to look at.
I forget what area of the Coronet Highlands, but what it's like actually called, but where the Clefairy spawn.
Oh yeah,
like I was chilling over there trying to like get the full moon, which hasn't happened, and it's really annoying because I've reset nighttime like 20 times. But like I'm hiding out in the grass trying to catch some Clefairy, and you can see like little spores, and they're kind of a little blurry, but like almost kind of look like lens flares. And I'm like, this looks really cool. But then there's like the Roselia in the background, like doing the robot, and I'm like, oh, dang it.
You're like, oh, that's right. That's what that's the game I'm playing.
It is.
There it is. Absolutely.
So I think for me, this would probably sit around like a 3. Again, so like I'm not like super into the graphics, but the battle animations definitely.
I mean, also Pokemon games have never been like fantastic in graphics. Like if you went into this expecting it to be photorealistic, you're just going to be disappointed because none of the other ones looked like that either.
Right, exactly. Like it's like you said, I like stylized games. I think that makes them like unique and stand apart. Like as much as I do appreciate those games where you're standing on a mountain and you're like, whoa, this looks amazing. I still think like very, very stylized art types are really good too.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
like a great example, I'm currently playing through and streaming Uncharted 4 for an upcoming episode.
That game is beautiful.
And like
it's the opposite of Pokemon.
yeah, I'm playing it on PS4 too, so I'm not
wow.
even on like the upgraded PS5 version, or
Mhm.
you know, the PC version hasn't come out yet, so it's not like I'm playing through some like super sick, like
Right.
Mhm.
you know, awesome graphics card. But I think I've said at least 50 times, like, oh my god, look at the water. Like I just stand on the edge of the cliff there in the first few chapters, and I'm
Mhm.
like, this water is gorgeous. Oh my god.
Absolutely. That game is, and not only that, but just like facial rendering that they
Oh,
do, the
Mhm.
characters.
I love it.
They're,
It's so
it's so
great.
good.
Yeah.
It's
It's so
beautiful.
good.
But yeah, you're not gonna get that with Arceus, so don't even.
No.
think.
And if
so,
you go in expecting that,
oh yeah,
like,
Yeah.
you-
what are you doing with your life?
why? Why?
Exactly.
Playing the wrong game.
I will
Exactly.
say, like, you know, Pokemon games aren't known for graphics. Obviously, they're Game Boy games. Start out Game Boy, you know, so you
Yeah.
have like the old, you know, pixelated graphics, whatever. I would say like the Let's Go games kind of look good. Like,
yeah, it goes back to that stylized art. That's like that
Yeah.
that like cell shaded is like an art style that holds up for like, it's like evergreen. You go back to like games like Wind Waker or whatever, and it's like those games still look good, like even for
Yeah.
now, just because they have like the stylized art to them.
yes. And Nick says, "Peep my meme in Discord, Pokemon channel I made for this
Oh, no.
conversation." It's pretty funny.
It's pretty good. I
Solid
just
use
looked.
of the old Drake meme. That's great. And then Nick says, or Biosis says, "Nick, you're ridiculous. Go to bed." Can't argue with that.
Fair.
So what number do you guys want to land on here?
I'm gonna say 3. I'm gonna come up to you guys. I'm gonna go
You're
with
gonna
3.
move up
I
a
think
little bit.
it's fair.
Okay, we got a 3 for the graphics. This is
All right.
fine. I think it's a fair number.
There you go. You heard it here first.
The,
Graphics.
the definitive
Solid.
Middle of the
review.
I mean, like I said, like you were saying, like old Game Boy graphics, like I'm still used to that like fat Pikachu. Because like in the
Yeah.
red and green version, some of those Pokemon Blastoise, what was going on with his belly?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they looked
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like,
Right.
Especially from
leaps
behind,
and
it just
bounds.
every Pokemon you threw out in battle just looked like a giant pixelated blob.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like
Yeah.
especially from behind, it's like, what even are you?
Yeah.
I think it's hard just to not compare. I mean, I understand compare like Legends to other Switch RPGs, like, and look at the other options on there too, and be like, but wait, that looks better. But also, you have to remember, different people develop different games. Different people
Yeah.
have better skill points at developing different games too. So that's another nitty.
Skill
Yeah.
points.
I didn't mean for that to be an RPG joke, but I'll take it.
Yeah, hey, it works here. Also, we're playing on a Switch. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
there's still like 3 generations behind, like technology wise. So come on.
But we love our little Switch. Even he's trying his best.
Oh yeah, I love it. All right, solid 3. That's not bad. You know,
I like it.
middle of
I
the
like
road.
it.
We can live with that. So the next category we have here is the story. So I think this might also be like a
Contentious topic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there is a story, believe it or not. And I will say, when I first turned the game on and started my playthrough, I was very annoyed. Like, I immediately was angry. And I was like, this is how we're starting the story? We're teleported from like current time in my t-shirts and shorts, playing on my cell phone through some weird wormhole that, again, we never really got an explanation for, and then land on this beach, and all of a sudden I'm like, who knows how far back in the past, I'm assuming, because they don't even understand why I have like shirt or t-shirt and like cargo shorts on.
I do like that they kind of broke that wall as far as that's concerned.
Yeah. So like, go
Sorry,
ahead.
I was gonna say I don't think it's worse than Ultra Beasts.
That's fair. I understand.
I see your time loophole and erase you Ultra Beasts.
Erase you Ultra Beasts going through Ultra wormholes.
Yeah, exactly.
They've been here before.
Have
Not
you
anything
seen
too crazy.
Blacephalon? 'Cause
Yeah. But yeah, I was like really hoping that we would just be a person that is growing
Yeah.
up in this world and like, but
Yeah.
I quickly got over it because I'm like, again, who plays Pokemon for the story?
That's
Yeah.
what that's
I'm
what I
gonna
was gonna
say,
say.
like,
I was like, yeah.
probably nobody. You just want
Yeah.
to catch and battle some Pokemon.
Yeah.
But I will say, as the game progressed, I started to get a little more invested in the story, and by the end, I think I wish I would have wrote down some of the dialogue lines, because as I was reading them, I was like, actually, I really like this, and it kind of brings up like a more meta like idea of the concept of space and time, really. And I was like, wow, that's actually kind of like a big thing that they're kind of unpacking in a not great way.
Right.
But I didn't write it down, so I can't like
Yeah.
give you the exact example, but it was towards the end of the game.
Yeah. Some characters give meaningful like things. Like there's, I don't remember what it was either because I didn't write it down, but Silene at one point just does some quote about like not giving up and sticking to your dreams or something like that. So it's like,
yeah, I saw something floating around where basically is like, if you remember that Game Freak made this game, and then you like read that quote, and it's like hits on a different level, because basically they're just like talking about into themselves, because people have just been ripping them about the recent Pokemon games.
I can't remember what our categories were. But were characters one of them, or are we lumping characters?
No, we'll lump it into this.
Okay, cool, good.
Okay, good. Because I definitely felt like the characters were more interesting in this game than I have seen in other games. Like I thought that they were, I don't know, they felt more like dynamic. And that being said, like you said, the stories can be like okay, I'm gonna keep going along with this because I want to catch like these legendaries, but
exactly.
It's all about friendship and companionship and our Pokemon working together. Got it. Like, where can you catch the Garchomp again? Like,
exactly.
But I felt like they were a little bit more interesting, and I liked them more, and it almost felt like they actually had I felt like the motivations behind some of their decisions, they felt a little bit more impactful than they have before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense. Maybe we should like give a synopsis of the story, because we haven't yet, and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, we should probably maybe do that so people know what we're talking about. So I'll do a very quick version, and if I miss anything important, you guys can fill in.
Spark Notes versions too.
Oh, hey, Light. Hey, Beth, what's up? Hope you had a good night. My wife's getting the baby monitor. So you're, like I said, you're just kind of chilling in your room or something, messing around on your phone. You get teleported through some giant wormhole. You land on a beach, and you're in the land of Hisui. And basically, short story, these people, this is in a time before humans and Pokemon have, bonded, and like people don't really understand Pokemon. They're terrified of Pokemon. And the story starts out with you being recruited by the Survey Corps, which their task is to fill out the first ever Pokédex, and they want you to help research, the Pokédex so they can fill it out. And then the story kind of evolves from there into the leader here of Jubilife Village. We're part of the Galaxy team here. They start to wonder about the space-time rift that opened up and spat you out, and the game evolves into figuring out how to close it. And along the way, some Pokemon are frenzied from the space-time rift, and you have to go and kind of...
Angry boys.
Yes, they're big yellow angry boys. And you have to go calm them down and earn, the trust of the nobles in the different regions. So that's kind of like the overarching quick synopsis of the story. And as I was saying that, I remember a conversation I had with a friend about my gripe of the whole time travel thing. As much as I dislike it, it does kind of explain like how you are knowledgeable about how to catch Pokemon.
You're
Instead of
skilled.
like
Best Pokeball thrower in the West.
That's right. But you don't have to go through that whole like this
Yeah.
is how you catch Pokemon, because you can't
Yeah.
really have that little tutorial thing in a game where everyone's terrified of Pokemon. And they don't
No,
really...
no one knows how to do it themselves.
Right.
So you like help the professor catch the 3 starters, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so good at this," and it like makes sense because you came from like a different time and or dimension where you already know what Pokemon are. You're familiar with them. You know how to catch them. You know how to bond with them. So in that area, I can excuse the beginning of the story, but
yeah.
I just wanted to kind of like throw that thought out there.
Mhm.
But did I miss anything that you guys want to fill in story wise?
No,
I will
think
say, as far as the Pokédex goes, because you
Mm.
always do like in all of the games, it's always about filling out the Pokédex. That's obviously one of
Yeah.
the driving factors of the game, especially if it comes to like actually completing like 100%ing the game. You have to do the Pokédex. But
Right.
the twist on it this time, I thought was really
Oh,
interesting.
Brilliant.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just about like, oh, I caught them, I'm done. Like
Right.
Yeah.
it
It's-
was really neat how they kind of developed that more.
We'll definitely
It's-
get into that in the
Yeah.
mechanics or what a future section, because I
Right.
really do want to
Mhm.
get into that because
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
loved what they did there.
It's like they have no knowledge of anything about these
Yes.
creatures,
Right.
and we have to research them, not just capture them. We have to know like lots of things
Right.
about them and
Yeah.
filling that out, and that's what it's about, which is really
Right.
cool.
Yeah. One thing you mentioned characters. Now my history of Pokemon, I played like, red, blue, and
Okay.
yellow, gold and silver. I 100%ed gold. That's like the only Pokemon game that I actually caught them
Wow.
all.
Interesting.
Wow.
I
That's wild.
played the next generation is Ruby and Sapphire, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Okay, so I played a little bit of that, and then I didn't play Pokemon until Sword and Shield, which I just got Shield about almost 8 months ago, because I got it right around the time my youngest daughter was born. So I missed Diamond and Pearl, which a lot of things are kind of from Diamond and Pearl. Like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
a part of the Galaxy team,
Ancient Sinnoh. Yeah.
right? Which
Mhm.
is the bad guys in Diamond and Pearl, right? The
Correct.
Yeah.
Galaxy team. You have the Diamond clan and the Pearl clan. So like,
Clever.
yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
So what
So
did
much
you guys?
enthusiasm.
Yeah, exactly. What did you guys think about like being a member of the Galaxy team? Because I know you guys both have recently played the remakes of Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think about that angle?
I think well, first I want to say, and this may be a hot take, but I think that Legend Arceus, whatever we want to say,
Yeah, I know.
potato, whatever.
Free zone here.
Right, exactly. Is one of the best stories in Pokemon. That being said, very low bar because Pokemon usually doesn't have a fantastic
Fair.
story.
Fair.
But I think that this game, and it's giving me an interesting perspective for someone that's like never played a Pokemon game, because this game contextualizes a lot of the previous games for me. I've played almost all, if not all, of the Pokemon games, and seeing characters show up again like Cylean or Kamado and reflect characters like Cyrus and
my
Professor. Oh my gosh, am I blanking on his name? Rowan?
Lavington?
No,
Yeah.
Just reflect characters from previous Pokemon games is really cool, and also to see like the dynamic of like, this is a time of Pokemon that we haven't experienced before. A time where it's not just like everyone's friends with Pokemon. It's a time where Pokemon are dangerous, Pokemon are angry. We stay away from them. They're scary kind of creatures. We've seen that a little bit in Pokemon games before, but I really like the story, and I really like the characters as well, because like I said, for me, it contextualized a lot of the games for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree 100% because
Yeah.
obviously when you played the original games, it was like an established world. It was an
Yeah.
established norm. You got your first Pokemon, you went
Yep.
out, you battled the gyms, and then you went on to battle the Elite Four.
Fight the Elite
Some
Four and you're done.
people did just that, or
Yeah.
they tried and they couldn't do it. Like that was like the world that you lived in. But
Mhm.
like we kind of watched like you're seeing like the growth of that
Mhm.
kind of dynamic, and I really did. I know some people didn't like what was it? It's not X and Y, but
Black and White.
no, it's after that one. I can't think of Oh my gosh, it's Lunala and Solgaleo. They're
Sun and Moon.
Yeah. Like that was a different take, and I know some people liked it, some people didn't, but I liked the difference in trials kind of that you go through on that one. So it was neat seeing, because you can imagine kind of how like they develop and they branch off and find what works for the different regions. I also really liked that you had people who came together into Sinnoh from different areas,
different
like you had
games,
the people,
different,
right? Exactly. You had the people from Alola, you had the people who came from Galar. Like it really felt like you were bringing together the world instead of these like separate games in separate areas where this is just the established norm. You felt like the growth. And it was really neat because Pokemon are like terrifying, like the stuff that they can do. Like you've got
there's a dragon back there.
Exactly. You've got like a 6-foot tall dragon that you're just like, this is my best friend. Like he can obliterate like rocks. And
I'm 10 and I'm gonna destroy the world.
Exactly. So it was, you know, it was neat seeing, and you affected people's opinion. It wasn't just like this is we're afraid. Like your character helped move that world forward, it felt like. So
and
I thought it was neat.
And one of the best parts of that is you see that in real time. Like when you start this game, Jubilife is no Pokemon. There is no Pokemon in this town. You talk to people and everyone's really afraid. As you progress through the story and progress through the game, do side quests, you see Pokemon show up. So people start getting their own Pokemon. You start giving them some Pokemon. Pokemon start populating this town, and people get more and more comfortable with this idea of these things not being these dangerous creatures, even though they are. We've seen Hyper Beam. But Pokemon that we are creatures that we can bond with and creatures that we can, you know, share our lives with. And I think it's really cool seeing that in real time as you progress with Jubilife.
And like you were saying, like the Parasect and the mushroom, like they use the mushrooms, or what was it? They used the 3-leaf for the some kind of like medicine. I can't think of its name right now. But like you're using these Pokemon to like enrich your life, like more than just being like a companion, I think. So
two things. Let's hope nobody in Jubilife ever sees Hyper Beam, or else all our work will have been for
all those beautiful wooden structures.
Exactly.
Also, if you lived in a world where, you know, you may have encountered one of the Hisuian Paris, like you would be terrified of Pokemon.
Paris has just like he's just like ready. He's ready to like
Who hurt him? Like who hurt them?
Somebody did because I'm pretty sure I just encountered a Paris right now just thinking about one. Like I know when I turn my game on, I'm gonna be like chased by a Paris.
Gonna wake up from like your bed and there's gonna be a Paris next to you, just very aggressively.
Let's do this.
Yes,
exactly.
I will say I love the like you were talking about the evolution of Jubilife City. Like
it's so cool.
Not only with the Pokemon, but like the city itself. You get there and there's very few buildings, like even the headquarters.
The building construction.
And as you progress through the game, like they start building more buildings, more people start showing up. The headquarters becomes more like I don't know the right word for it, but improved, remodeled or whatever. You, like you said, you are catching Pokemon and giving people their first Pokemon, and they're kind of like raising them. And like Amy said, a lot of them are for like practical reasons. You like catch a Geodude for some lady who's trying to like pickle things so he can like sit on the thing. Like silly, but I get it. It's like a rock. I mean, that's great.
Can I interest you in this normal rock?
Right. You could just use one that's not alive, but you know, hey, now she has a Graveler, so it's cool.
You're giving people ground types to like plow the crops and everything, like practical reasons, and it's like water them, giving them water types to water them, and it's like that's super cool.
So good. And then, you know, I think Amy's favorite is the
if you say Mr. Mime, I'm leaving.
No. I can't think of the name of the dumb Pokemon, but it's like Eugene. I forget what the Pokemon is.
Yes, the little wormhole.
Oh,
Beautiful.
yes. I couldn't think of the name of the dumb Pokemon. It's like a Dustox. It's not the Beautifly.
Yeah, he's so convinced. He was like, I thought it was like a typo when I first played it. I was like, that's not a Silcoon, that's a Cascoon. I know that.
Yeah.
I know my Pokemans.
I love it though, because they don't know.
Yeah,
and we have to
that's
teach them.
cool too. That's cool. You have to teach them about this world, which is interesting.
God.
Yeah.
I'll never get over Bugene. That's the best name ever.
I kind of like the different approach too, because the game is not gym centric. You're not there are no gyms. You're not battling trainers really. I mean, you do a little.
I'm excited to talk about mechanics.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be fun. So I'll wrap this up real quick so we can jump right in. But like, I like the nobles and the frenzied Pokemon you have to quell. Different approach, but they kind of step in place of the gym battles and stuff. But again, it makes sense in the world we're playing in, right? The few people that do understand Pokemon from the two clans, again, the Galaxy people, they're the ones that are kind of like terrified of Pokemon, but the Diamond and Pearl clan people who have been living in Hisui, they're cool with Pokemon. They appoint these wardens that protect and like bond with the noble Pokemon in each region. And the space-time rift kind of sends them into a frenzy, and one of our jobs is to help these wardens figure out how to calm them down. But like I kind of liked it. Some of the, again, this will bleed into the mechanics, but like, some of the fights there and how you're quelling these, it is very unique for a Pokemon game.
100%.
But like I just kind of like that aspect of the story, and what you see here between the Diamond and Pearl clan, apparently in the past they were kind of at odds and at war with each other, and are kind of like on uneasy like peace terms at the moment, and like that's kind of why we're trying to help them to kind of prevent anything from happening with them. But I don't know, it's just like a cool dynamic between the two clans and the Galaxy team, and
it almost seemed like two rival religions.
Exactly. What was it? Diamond is
Diamond
space.
Is time, and Pearl is space.
Other way around. And how that all kind of concludes at the end with
it's wild.
all the different legendary battles that you have there.
Oh no, so many.
Yeah, super super cool. Actually, I really began to grow to like the story by the end of the story, and I was like fully on board.
Absolutely.
So to your point, Jared, I do think out of all the Pokemon games, it's probably the strongest story. But with that being said, like, Game Freak, if this is your strongest story, like, maybe we need to go back to the drawing board. But this is a step in the right direction, I feel.
Absolutely. I mean, it's funny with Pokemon games. I think, a lot of the times it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I think they had like 5 step forwards this game, and like maybe a couple steps backwards. I think like there's just still always room for improvement. I think that this is probably some of the better characters, but I would really want to like get compelled and be invested in some of these Pokemon characters, because again, I think that this time they did a good job, and probably the best job with convincing me these characters in this world and everything with their world building. But I think there's always room for improvement here.
So Dialga and Palkia are legendaries in Diamond and Pearl, right?
Correct.
And like, isn't the story kind of similar-ish with...
I think
Yeah.
Cyrus is trying to like remake the world.
He's trying to restart the universe. He's doing the same big boss thing where he's like, I'm gonna restart the universe. And it's like, no motivation. Just because it's
Yeah, so like Volo.
Kind of.
Spoiler
I actually think Volo, Volo.
I was like, are we getting into spoilers? Bring in Volo, man.
Yeah.
That battle. Oh my god. We'll get
But
into
that was like
mechanics,
a really good like, say what now?
Yeah.
Like if I hadn't already seen a few spoilers like before I got to that point, because obviously I finished the game so much later, I would have been like, what?
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Liked him.
I was very thrown off guard.
There was one part like I always thought that something may be up, but I didn't think it would take that turn of him being like, universe restarting villain.
Mhm.
But
Also,
like
that outfit, his drip
dude,
is just like
yeah, kind of yeah,
on point.
can we just ditch the roaming vendor like
Right, exactly.
just,
get that Greek god outfit.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
yeah.
My God.
Yeah. There was one part near the end where I think it's Kogita who's explaining something, and he's just like, "Ha ha ha! I knew it!" And then I was like, "What are you, bro? Like, so you
Something's
got really
wrong.
excited about something that I don't think we should have got excited about."
You see him kind of spiral towards the end there.
Yeah.
But again, you fall in that same trap. I mean, like,
Yeah.
the desire, drive and motives are the same exact thing.
Yeah.
They're just trying to restart the universe with Arceus.
But I low-key also like that's not technically the main story. Like, I know he directly influences the main story, but it is not obvious. Because like usually you're battling, you're fighting the like protagonist, like you're fighting the bad guys, like you're fighting Team Rocket or you're fighting Team Galactic or shoot, I just Team Yell. Oh my God.
they weren't.
Although I guess you're not really
guys.
fighting them. They're like they're really funny cheerleaders. Who's the one?
Aether Foundation. Those were the
Yeah. So it's neat that like he's influenced and like his motivation feels like his own. But it is not like you're not directly fighting him.
Yeah.
He's just like, surprise.
Yeah. And I think that the Sun and Moon games did something similar where they presented like Team Yell as like, oh, they're the bad guys. And at the end, they're like, nope, you're wrong. It's the other people.
Yeah, I do like how that whole thing plays out after the credits roll. Like that's all
exactly
the game story, which is pretty cool. I do
Right.
I do like that. So let's give a number here so we can get into the mechanics. I think that's gonna be a really fun discussion. For me, I'm gonna say maybe a 3.5.
I would say in relation to other games, I'd give it a 3. In relation to Pokemon games specifically, I'd give it a 4. So I guess I'm in the 3.5 range too.
I was gonna say literally the exact same thing. I was gonna be like, I'll give this one probably a 4 because in terms of Pokemon games, I think it's honestly one of the better stories. In terms of other games, it can be predictable. It's kind of shallow at times, and it's not like you're not going to be emotionally and physically changed by the narrative of this game.
Yeah.
So
Nice. That's
3.5.
That's pretty good. We all kind of landed right in the same area. I like that. And yeah, I think all those points are great. Comparing this to any other normal game, just straight. Like I don't even know if it makes the scale. Like
you're
not going to get.
Can't what you're getting into when you get into a Pokemon game for the most part.
You're not going to get Last of Us level of emotional roller coasters.
Agreed.
Oh, dude,
Legends
I was emotionally exhausted after I beat that game.
Oh gosh, I played part 2 during quarantine, and I was like, I need a break. This is too much.
I'm feeling too many feelings right now.
I'm feeling too many things, and I can't do it.
Yeah, by the time you got to in the first game, I want to say Colorado, where you're walking and you see like the giraffes and that whole scene, like I literally like a tear rolled down my cheek, and I was like,
but I want that. I want that from Pokemon. I want Pokemon to make me cry. Like that's the story I want.
Oh man.
Make me cry. I want to see Giraffaric walk by and be like,
yeah, exactly.
That's what I want.
That's perfect.
I want to see giraffe. Aren't they only like 5 feet tall?
Yeah, they're small. The scene doesn't hold up as much with miniature giraffes.
It's like a horse-sized creature walking by.
We're laying down and like it's on a hill and
exactly.
Perspective. In the right perspective, it looks
exactly.
So we have some comments that I haven't thrown up. So Underfunded Scientist, welcome, buddy. I appreciate you. He says, not gonna lie, I skipped all the dialogue so far. Shame on you, but
that's
understandable.
Fair. I understand. Yeah.
Steven says, playing Pokemon for the story is like reading a Playboy for the articles. Hey, some people do it.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
Also not wrong. And then he also says, I skipped Diamond and Pearl completely. Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I
It's
think
good.
that it used to be one of my favorites. I thought it was, and then replaying Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, I realized there's just a lot of issues with Gen 4. I think Pokemon specifically, you'll be like into the Elite Four and still running into like Starlies and stuff, and you're like, what is happening here? Where's my new
I
Pokemon?
felt like the variety was kind of trash.
Yeah,
But Cynthia
absolutely.
is probably my favorite.
Oh, Cynthia is the best. Cynthia's
my favorite,
fantastic.
I lived
champion.
my Diamond and Pearl experience vicariously through the both of you.
Yeah, there you go.
I listened to your podcast series and I watched your stream. So
There you go.
I got my fill. Maybe someday I'll definitely legally pay for it on my ROM player.
Absolutely.
For sure. I think I can get a copy for RetroArch. I don't know. But yeah, let's move on to the mechanics section. I'm excited. Amy's very excited, so I'm gonna let her start this one off.
Where do I start though?
Let's start some mechanics.
I have a lot of feelings. Okay, let me see. I guess I could start with the like the overworld in general. Like
there's a lot in this game. There's a lot to process.
No, like the overworld and the way that you can capture Pokemon, because I appreciate the variety that they offer. Like I when I played Let's Go, it was fun. Like the idea of just like throwing the Pokeball and catching them. But this, I felt like that took that to a whole new level, because you could employ like strategy. Like you could choose to fight them, choose to not. Like I thought that was really interesting on how you built your team, how you like caught your Pokemon, and how that fed into the development of the Pokédex itself. Because you catch so many and you get like not
like
achievements,
the
but
catch chain
research tab.
You do that.
Yeah.
Or you battle them. Like you get rewarded for doing both. Like I said, sometimes you want to use like the sticky glob, sometimes you want to use like raspberries. Like it just depends. You have so much variety and so many options to the world. I thought that was a really neat aspect of it. And then I also loved the mechanics of the Pokemon, the Lord fights. Some of those were
so good,
hard. Like
good.
I couldn't believe that they were actually like difficult.
We need more action RPG elements in Pokemon games.
I absolutely
here for it.
I loved playing Witcher, and like I have been the person who like just fucking YOLOs it into like a boss fight and gets obliterated. I have had to, after I played God of War, the most recent God of War and Witcher, was challenged in my very limited gaming ability on using mechanics. And like I can't just like run in and start hacking and slashing. So I appreciated that they kind of like employed that, and it felt like a kind of like a breath of fresh air. Like you didn't have to keep going through the same stuff.
Absolutely.
Because as much as I love the grind, it can start to feel repetitive. It's like, okay, I need to put this down and probably go do something else. But I liked that it kind of broke it up, and I wish we could have more. I kind of wanted more, but
oh man.
Okay, I'm done. I could keep going, but I'm not.
I'll continue your rant. The mechanics in this game are fantastic. Throwing a Pokeball has never felt so good. Like I could just throw Pokeballs all day and I would enjoy it. I think.
Did you know that like if you just tap it, you kind of like lob it, and if you hold it down, you throw it farther? Did you know that? At least with the feather wing ball line.
Absolutely not.
There's so much that I learned. I didn't know that you could buy and access the pasture from the out in the field until just like yesterday. I always would go back to Jubilife. I had no idea. I was watching someone on stream and I was like, "What? You can access your pasture? You can buy things?" I was going all the way back to Jubilife.
Oh my
God. But that's cool. Finding out new things. But no, the mechanics. I think in previous Pokemon games, and I think Arceus made this more apparent is that battling, exploring the world, and catching Pokemon felt like three very separated things.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't interact with one another, and they didn't feel like they affected one another either. But in this game, all those three things feel like they come together, and feel like how it would actually feel to explore a world like this. Like when you're out and you're catching Pokemon, they drop items. You can interact with trees and get resources that you use to create these items that you're using to catch Pokemon. When you're
resource management.
Oh yeah, exactly. When you're battling or when you're catching, I mean, all of those things benefit and build off of one another, and I think they did a fantastic job of doing that. And we see a little bit of the DNA in that in Let's Go and in Sword and Shield, you know, with Pokemon being in the overworld, like, and being able to kind of pick and choose your encounters. Like, that's how it would be. Like, if we thought about ourselves in this world, it'd be like, oh, I don't want to encounter this Paris because he's way too mean. I'm gonna go over there and catch something else.
You have no choice with
right, exactly.
Yeah.
But my biggest problem with Sword and Shield is the wild area and the regular areas felt completely separated, and that pulled me out of the experience. You would go out into the wild area, cool, I can free roam and move my camera as I please, but then you get stuck into fixed camera areas, and it's like that pulls you out of the experience. With this being not open world by any means, but like segmented sections that feel, I mean, these areas are pretty big, like they're all pretty expansive. That just it feels so good to explore. Catching Pokemon, resource management, doing all of that is just like, that loop feels great. I could do it all the time.
I felt like they did a really good job rewarding you for all of the time that you put in between like unlocking the the parts in the Pokédex, obviously, because you had to do so many like research tasks to like get to your level 10. Between that and like you could go into an area and just lob Pokeballs at everything, and you don't have to like spend currency. Like you get rewarded for like hitting the rocks or hitting the trees or battling the Pokemon. You get rewarded for catching the Pokemon too, because you get your grit dust, and that helps you like develop your team more. Like I just felt like the reward mechanic really made it feel like you were doing something. You weren't really wasting your time, which I really appreciated.
And
for a game that has
something.
So much potential for grinding, like, and just like doing. It felt like you really could be rewarded for the work that you put in.
And just exploring the world in general. It does a great job of being like, you can explore it like this, and then they introduce like the ride Pokemon. It's like, it makes it a little bit better, and they did a very good job of pacing that. They gave you the Weirdeer, they give you the Ursaluna. They like give you all of these things that slowly make exploring this world a little easier until the very end. We get the Braviary we can fly and everything. But I think they did a fantastic job of pacing that as well.
And opening up new areas.
100%. Sure. Going back to older areas with this new ride Pokemon you have, and like, oh, I now have the Basculegion. I can go into the water and explore this other area. Look, there's new Pokemon here. There's new like things that I can interact with, which is really cool.
Super awesome. So this game like is a complete 180 from every other Pokemon game. Like the mechanics straight up fundamentally completely across the board different in the best way. So I'll just go through and try to name most of the big time things. And I mean, I feel like we're probably going to sit here in this section for a long time because there's so much to talk about. But
we didn't even get to battles yet, so
no. So first off, it is, you know, the segmented open world.
It's like Monster Hunter. You know, you gotta go into your sections and you travel to them and you explore them, and
you got like 1, 2, like 5 or 6, something like that. Which right there is already different from a normal traditional Pokemon game. Very linear. Like you said, everything is overworld, so you're not running through grass trying to get random encounters. The only encounters you're going to get are the ones that you choose by throwing a Pokeball, running into the line of sight, etc. In terms of Sword and Shield, which is the only other game I've played that has had an overworld or Pokemon roaming around in the different areas, that
game
compared to Arceus just feels like soulless in those areas.
Oh, absolutely.
they did a great job of making all these regions feel very vibrant and alive.
Yeah.
You still have the day-night cycle, which I really appreciate is not like in real time, because most of the time I can only really play at nighttime, so that's always a bummer. I don't want to be like nocturnal Pokemon
stuck in night forever.
Yeah. But of course, playing off that mechanic, certain Pokemon appear different times of the day. Some Pokemon you might just stumble upon in the wild sleeping because it's nighttime and you sleep at nighttime. So
right.
walk around the starting area. And the first time I saw like just Wurmple laying on the
like the
just
sleeping animations are so adorable.
My God.
Yeah, and then you just come up and just drill him in the back of the head.
Just pull you out of your nice quaint sleep in your environment and force you to fight for me.
Yes. But like one of my favorite, you guys already talked about, catching. We talked about the nobles. Those boss fights are cool because they feel like boss fights, and each one has a different mechanic. The first few weren't super challenging, but like
the last
I died like
the Avalugg is like
it's
like a bullet hell.
Electrode, I think.
Electrode was a tough one.
Yeah.
In terms of difficulty, like the game is challenging. There aren't many battles, but I would say some of the battles in the front end weren't that difficult, but I definitely was having Pokemon die. Like,
oh my gosh,
Pokemon hit hard.
I can't imagine. Like, well, I guess because you're supposed to utilize that grip mechanic, and I had no idea until I was like halfway through the game, and I'm like,
same.
I never really did.
Well, not only that, but just like I don't know if you've like in the pasture thing or the crops, you can harvest mints and change your Pokemon's natures too, so they can benefit from the natures that'll benefit their special attack or if they're defensive, and you can do that too.
I did not know you could change the natures.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the advantage of the mints.
That's the thing too that I love about this game is I've played nearly 70 hours, and almost every conversation I have with someone else who's played it, I've learned something. And I've approached this. Never mind. I'll save that for the experience category. That will open up a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
But
no, just like the battling you're talking about, and just like they're difficult in the sense of it's just like whoever goes first is most likely going to kill. Like if you can outspeed, or like whoever is going to outspeed is going to be able to, I mean, maybe not as much in the beginning, but definitely towards the end, it's like if you don't have a faster Pokemon, like a lot of hits just will take either half or most of your health out.
I will say that's one gripe I've kind of had so far is like it kind of removes the need for like status effects and things.
Yeah.
Just like I'm just gonna smack you with a power.
It also kind of changed some status effects too, which is interesting.
I really want to talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up because that's interesting.
I remember the first time I got hypnosis, and I was like, "I'm gonna put this Ember to sleep," and then
like I attacked him,
and I'm like, "What the? Why
He's
did
not
you just
asleep.
attack me?"
Right.
Yeah.
It makes you kind of rethink all of the like Pokemon mechanics you learned before. Because I remember I like burned one of the Pokemon and then like went for a poison type move, and then the burn went away and got poisoned. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah,
game?
usually the only way you could get through that was resting. If you had rest,
rest was the only thing that took out status effects. But it was just like that's crazy.
Or other moves like aromatherapy and stuff like that. But I thought it was kind of neat. It was
I love it.
You weren't so
you can't get like status locked.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Not that there's any sort of competitiveness to this game because there's no player versus player battling.
Right.
So that it doesn't really matter because who cares if you status lock an AI? But the fact that you use hypnosis and then it's just a chance if they fall asleep on one of the turns,
they're too drowsy to attack.
You don't ever put them to sleep. You just make them drowsy, and then eventually that wears off. So there's a chance they don't fall asleep at all while they're drowsy.
I don't know if like normally there's some statuses that you use not just because you want to like burn. So in the normal Pokemon games, if you burn a Pokemon, not only
Yeah.
are they going to take like residual damage over time, but you
It buffs
half
their
their
attack, too.
attack.
Yeah.
So like a
Oh.
lot of times that's a like control mechanic for a lot of
Yeah,
people, because
absolutely.
if you've
We've
got
used
a
that here.
strong if you've got a strong physical attacker and
Mhm.
you burn them, like you are crippling that Pokemon.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with paralysis. If you like
Yep.
para somebody, not only do you have a chance that they're not going to be able to attack, but you like
It
half
lowers their
their
speeds.
speed.
Yeah.
So like that, I mean, you kind of, I don't know if that happened, if that's something that was one of the mechanics built into the game. I never really like saw a comparison to be able to tell, because in the normal game, if you like burn who's a big physical attacker, like a Conkeldurr, like he's not going to Oko anymore. Like it's just not going to happen.
Unless he has guts, and then he's scary.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, then you're screwed.
then you're just screwed.
But I kind of like that you weren't stuck with it permanently either, which was kind of a neat thing too.
Yeah, it was cool. They kind of reworked all of that. The battling, the statuses, it definitely feels like that's not at the forefront of this game. Battling is something that you do, but isn't necessarily a major part. At least battling other trainers and battling other people like that. Catching and exploring is definitely the forefront of the loop of this game.
Right.
But
did
while
you guys
we're
feel
on,
like you used the agile and strong mechanics a lot?
Yeah, I did.
you?
I actually started using, as like in the beginning, I definitely didn't, because I didn't have a full grasp of it too much. I knew that agile makes your move faster but lowers its power, and strong style might make you slower but boosts its attack and everything like that. But there'll be times where you can agile style, Cresselia, like healing, and then you can heal yourself and then go for it, and then that gives you an additional turn, which now will let you use a strong style to attack harder, or you can use agile style to go faster and then do another strong style just to get 2 turns up, which is interesting.
Yeah, that happened to me a lot. I like the status move and then the attack too.
Absolutely.
That whole mechanic
turn order is
first
interesting.
I use say I do get into like a battle encounter and I'm trying to catch something, like they spot me or whatever. My Pokemon are enormously over leveled. So I'll like smack them with an agile move of a like non-effective attack, just to like make sure I don't one hit it.
Obliterate them.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But it still happens. And then I have like a slight obsession with completing perfect Pokédex entries.
That's what I was going to say too. Which bless your soul.
Yeah. So I have used plenty of agile and strong attacks in my quest of the perfect Pokédex. But in the battles, this is obviously an entirely new battle mechanic. You have strong attacks and agile attacks, and exactly what Jared said, the agile attacks, they reduce your attack power but boost your speed, so sometimes allowing you to have 2 turns or 2 attacks in a row. The powerful moves do the opposite. They boost your attack power and slow you, so you may get attacked 2 times in a row.
I also didn't know that until just recently, that where it shows your moves power, that will change.
It will change,
agile. I was like,
it also uses 2 PP instead of 1 when you use them.
Oh, does it?
It does, yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah, when I was trying to evolve my Weirdeer, I was like, I can do this 10 times. I think you have to do is it agile style?
5 times.
Yeah, and you can. And I was like, wait
that.
a minute, I could have sworn that I had 10 PP. Why does it say 8? And it took me longer than I would like to admit to realize that that's why what happened. It uses up your PP faster. So like you can't just go out and like strong style. Like it's kind of it's kind of
definitely
neat.
makes
you have to use it strategically.
Those research tasks a little grindy, let me tell you.
I have to admit, so one of the things that I really like, I love as cool as it is, like in the normal Pokemon games, you get to a point and you just start. If you have a type advantage, you're going to Oko everything. Like, even if you're the same level, you're going to Oko most things. Like, it's just, and it can kind of start making the battles feel like, okay, I gotta get through this route. I gotta get through all these battles. Like I'm just like obliterating Pokemon after Pokemon after Pokemon. But I felt like in this game, I was not OHKOing things that were on level with me. That was not the case. And I was having to be much like smarter about how I battled rather than just sending somebody in and being like, hit you in the face and we're done. So I liked that. I appreciated that, making it a little bit more challenging. And the number of times I had those NPCs use an agile move just to hit me in the face with a strong move next, and I'm like, these mother.
Or just like a Pokemon going 3 times in a row. That's not how this works.
Yeah, like
it's my turn and your turn. We switch off. That's how this works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that. And it even shows like if you have it toggled the turn order in the upper right corner, which by the way, one of your co-hosts was not a fan of that, but Ben, we told you in Discord, but in case by chance you're listening to this and haven't read Discord, even though I know you have because you replied to it, but you can toggle that on and off. If you're not a fan of, if you want to play the risk reward game of, should
I like it. It adds to the strategy for me. It adds like, okay, should I do this or should I do that?
Yeah.
Especially when you get into sticky situations where you accidentally pull like 4 Rhydons in a space rift.
You go to fight one and you're like, where did that Haunter come from? Where's
and then you're like looking at the turn order and you're like, now if I try to one hit this alpha that I know is going to destroy me, I'm not going to get to attack for like 5 more turns. So is it really worth it?
Yeah,
exactly.
I went into a Electabuzz outbreak. All of them are jerks. And I aggroed every single one of them. And I had like 4 Electabuzz, and I'm like,
we gotta get out of here. I don't like this.
I have terrible luck with the outbreaks of like staying hidden, even though I'm like crouched down in the grass. They still see me.
The professor says I am such good at throwing Pokeballs, but they don't see me out there missing like 16 jet balls trying to hit this Heracross one.
Yeah, exactly. But so there's another one. There are
Mass
outbreaks, which are crazy. It's just like a giant nest of certain types of Pokemon. Whenever you go into Jubilife and go back out into the overworld, there's a chance of an outbreak happening, and they're super cool. I would say probably like 10 to 15 Pokemon. I don't know the exact number.
Yeah, it's between them.
They kind of spawn there, and of course you get like increased odds at shinies because there's more Pokemon spawning and all that. But pretty cool mechanic. The battling is real fun. I really enjoy that. There are some moves I either are new to the franchise or new to me because I haven't played.
No, there's definitely some new moves.
There's definitely new moves. New what's the word I want? Not exclusives. I guess they're like Pokemon signature, like their signature move, like the Weirdeer and the Psyshield Bash. That's a new move, like exclusive for I guess technically Stantler and Weirdeer. I think almost all of the Hisuian versions have a new move, like the Infernal Parade. Is that Cyndaquil?
That sounds awesome.
Arcanine has one too. It's like something Blitz or something like that.
Arcanine it's like a player Blitz, but it's different and my gosh, I remember the first time they used Stealth Rocks on me. Like I'm used to Stealth Rocks being
or
spikes.
Hazard. Yeah,
and I was like, what the fuck? What? Like, what do you mean? They dug into me. I'm not moving.
Yeah, exactly.
I even switched out. These shouldn't be digging into me.
Yeah. Oh, and that's another thing. Your battles are all set. Like you don't get the option. They don't ask you if you want to change Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I didn't even put that together.
Awesome because
I turn that. I try to remember to turn that off when I play because it's.
Yeah, I usually when I do like Nuzlocke and everything, I'll set it to set anyway. So I'm just used to playing on that kind of on that.
Mechanic. They cut out the middleman for us, which is nice.
Now you don't get a choice. It's
because I mean, how are you going to know what they're about to send out? It's just not fair.
Or they send out all 3 of their Pokemon at once.
Yeah, and you can't do that, which I thought was interesting and sometimes unfair. But I kind of thought it was.
Well, at least they made it where the other ones were typically pretty underleveled.
Yeah.
Or there's lots of times when, especially if you're in a situation like that where you're fighting like a ton of them, one will be like, Electabuzz is standing there, and he'll just like, and then that's his move, and that's all he does.
Yeah, he's just like the hype man for the Hyperior or whatever.
You're right, exactly.
Like, you got this, bro.
Use that Thunder Punch.
Yeah. One of my favorite mechanics would be the crafting aspect. I love resource management. But like just the fact that Pokeballs are a new creation here, so they even look different. They have like the wood kind of look. You gather apricorns and different types of stones, like you got the tumble stone and all the different ones. I forget exactly all of them.
Jet balls are my new favorite.
Oh, dude, they're the best.
Jet balls are so cool. I use like quick balls are really cool too, the blue and yellow quick balls, but jet balls are really cool.
Yeah. So you have like your regular Pokeballs, you got your great balls, the ultra balls, of course, the classic trinity of Pokeballs. But then you have the heavy balls, and there are two improved versions that I can't recall the exact names of. And then you have
Gigantus something, and there's another one.
Gigaton ball.
Gigaton ball. There you go.
And then you have the like quick ball play, which is like feather, wing, and jet.
Yeah.
But yeah, the jet ball is my favorite because you got like sniper rifle.
Yeah, you just rain jet balls down into these poor Teddy Ursa that are just wandering about.
Is it just me, or does that like dunk sound when it just hits off of them fill anybody else with rage? Like, excuse me.
Jet balls are great, but a slight incline, completely useless. A little hill in your way, it's nope, it's bouncing off of that.
You have to have the unobstructed view for sure. But I love that they paid that much detail where like the quick ball line, you have much farther range and you throw them faster. The heavy ball line, you have to be like a foot away from these Pokemon because you're like throwing a boulder basically. It goes like a foot in front of you. And then of course, you know, your Poke Great and Ultra Balls are typical, but I love that attention to detail there. I love how you can craft everything, like your potions, your revives, your ethers, you
could do smoke balls, you could do all of that.
Sticky globs, which is like my favorite thing. Like I just love smacking Pokemon those sticky globs. I will say there are a lot of items that I have absolutely no use for, like the Ox items.
I didn't even.
I haven't gotten into the Ox items, like you were saying. I just now got into the grit stuff, and I was like,
I haven't. And that's another thing. I guess it could fall under mechanics here. Is like since the game is not battle centric, like I found the need for having an actual strong team kind of not important because you're not really fighting much. Though until
the end.
Till the end, then I was like, man, good thing I still kind of stuck with the same team throughout the whole game. So I'm like level 80, 85 or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But like it was still hard. Like I had to do the Volo fight a few times, and then the Garanta fight like a million times. That was so hard.
That's one issue that I have with this is the game has its difficulty to it. I would say it's difficult because it is a new set of mechanics, and because a lot of the mechanics that we are used to are now different and do different things. So adapting to that is it takes a learning curve to it. But I would say that the battles that you get into aren't relatively difficult till the end, and then it's incredibly difficult. I did that fight so many times. So frustrating. Why 3 back-to-back battles? That's just mean.
It was rough. I like finally beat it for the first time after dying, like without beating the first form, and then it changed forms, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And of course, I wiped like a million times. Then I just brought like a ton of max revives.
I just brought a ton of legendaries on my team, and I was like, "This is the squad now."
Oh no, I didn't give up on my boys. My boys and girls.
My boys let me down.
I do have female Pokemon. Let that be known.
Yes.
But yeah, I didn't give up on my team. I just kept sending them out to their death, like time and time again. But eventually, I was like, I'm just gonna bring like 15 max revives, and then whenever I get into that mode where I'm like, I'm just gonna send out my tanky boy and start reviving the people I need to revive, and then I beat the second form. I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
And then the third form comes, and I'm like, you are not serious right now. This is not cool.
I was very excited. I don't know. It's a love-hate thing because I think having challenges like that are frustrating, but then when you accomplish them, it's very rewarding.
It felt so good.
But I think that having a difficulty curve that's that like abrupt, like if the game gradually battle started getting more difficult, and they might, but you also either are over level or you scale with it, so it's not as difficult too. But it just felt that last fight felt like it was way harder than anything that I had done.
Yeah. And then
my first try.
Pokemon.
That's because you're like,
I saw your face the whole time we were talking, and I could see it in your face. I was like,
she's like, I can't believe I'm on a podcast.
But I used the grit test. I got a lot of I got the
Okay.
defense and the special defense on I think all of my Pokemon up to 10.
That's
so
good.
that I
there
wasn't
you
gonna
go.
be I
You're
was
not getting
not
one
going to
shot.
be O-Code, so help me.
And
Shadow Force.
if you ever watch her stream, she's like meticulous about like her team and the typings and the strengths and weaknesses, and she
I love
like
team
talks it all
building.
out like
Yes, team
before
building.
she goes into any battle. She's like, wait, let me see. Hold on, my team is
Yeah.
currently has a weakness to this one random
Right.
type. I cannot use this team, and I really like it because it's I never really got super into like
Yeah.
the deep weeds of like the competitive scene. So like I was just worried about beating the gyms and never really thought too much into it other than like getting a strong team and then just one-shotting everything. But so like listening to Amy go through all that on your streams, I love it. It's taught me a lot of stuff.
I used to be really interested in competitive Pokemon, but it was just harder before because breeding is just something that I was not interested in doing.
That's the problem.
Breeding was way too much of a hassle, but I love competitive Pokemon. Like it was such an interesting thing. And like you said, team buildings and tried to like, I love rain teams. And like, I always want to bring like a Pelipper and do some rain team shenanigans. That was always fun. But yeah, breeding was always a struggle.
Neil he made a sun team before with a what's its name? It's a turtle. It's a turtle and it's a fire turtle.
Torkoal.
Torkoal. He had a Torkoal and a Leafeon. That was a pretty neat combination.
Ooh, interesting.
Utilizing that. But yeah, I love team building, and so I won't lie. Obviously I knew that Volo was going to have a team very similar to Cynthia's, and I was not going to lose again.
Nope.
I had to fight Cynthia three or four times when I played through Brilliant Diamond.
Oh my gosh, I have a terrible horror story with Cynthia.
I'm
Jesus,
like, this is not. We're not going to do this again.
Yeah.
So
I came so close to beating Cynthia on my first try because my first playthrough I did a Nuzlocke of it, and I got to the very end and I had one Pokemon, I had a Azumarill, and I beat her Garchomp, but the rough skin killed me and I lost.
Oh my god!
And I was like, nope, I'm done. No, I'm not doing it.
I'm gonna have to walk away for a little bit.
I'm not doing it.
I felt so bad listening to that episode.
Oh, it made me so sad.
I was like, "Are you serious? That's like the worst luck ever."
Oh my god!
It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, I love team building though, and I wanted to use all of the new Hisuian forms, which is what I did in like when Sword and Shield came out. I tried to use just exclusively the new Pokemon in Sword and Shield, so I used all the new Hisuian forms and I used the grit dust. So I only lost 2 Pokemon in those fights.
Nice.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you didn't struggle and feel like want to rip your eyes out for the Volo fight, because that's what I did. I was like, I hate this.
It was definitely a drastic between the Volo fight and the what was his name? The Commander Kamado.
Oh yeah.
His wasn't too Snorlax's, man.
But Snorlax is a beefy boy.
I love how like
Well, that's not good.
Now what do we do?
Well, hi everybody, it's just us.
And we don't know how this works.
Mike is gone.
Back button on my mouse and leave the podcast.
It's okay. We held down the fort while you were gone.
Yeah, we were ready.
We were ready. We were ready to take control.
So
mechanics.
I had some juggling ready to go.
Yeah,
we
I
were ready.
appreciate you guys. You guys are pros.
We're professionals here.
Absolutely.
No, I don't remember. Oh, I love how like completely insane and like always on max level the commander is. Like he has zero chill, like
he
ever. And the camera will do like the zoom in and like all the like quick. I love it. It's so great.
He's very dramatic, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. Big old drama queen. So crafting, great. And of course you can still buy like things.
That's what I like to do. That's what I
Yeah,
like to.
I ended up. I was all about the crafting in the beginning. I was like, so help me, I'm never gonna buy a Pokeball until I started using 2 pieces of iron for the Ultra Balls. I'm like, I'm gonna go buy some Ultra Balls.
Yeah, same. I was like, I'm gonna craft everything, and I'm like, nope, I'll just buy it.
Yeah, I definitely started doing that too towards the end. It's just because you can't buy the jet balls, which is, I get it. Like you can't buy the leaden balls either.
Yeah.
So I'll buy a bunch of what I think wing balls are the second tier. But yeah, jet balls. You just got to use jet balls. They're the best.
That's
all the time.
Just jet balls.
The exploration is great. The Pokédex is brilliant. Like I just the fact that like it makes so much sense, right? Nobody knows what Pokemon are. So like when you catch a Pokemon, it doesn't fill in the Pokédex.
Right.
Like, of course, like why would it? But
you have
like
to take it back to the professor, and he has to research it and diagnose it and like go through all these steps. You take it to a professional. Like we don't know what it is, we just caught it.
But
we
the
don't know
great
anything
thing
about
is,
this
like
thing.
he doesn't know what it is either. So like we gotta go out. We have to catch, I mean, almost all of them have like catch so many. Defeat so many, and then like some of them are like give it food so many times. Like,
well, I guess in theory, like type advantages aren't a thing either, because that's why one of those rewards is like, oh, defeated it with a ground type move, defeated it with a water type move. Like it seemed like type advantages weren't known either, which is
evolve so many,
right?
Catch so many alphas. Like they, each like tier of Pokemon in their evolution line kind of run the same or very similar research tasks, but still just I don't know, I thought the Pokédex, the way they handled that was absolutely brilliant. And like as you complete the tasks, your dex entry grows levels, and once you get to level 10, it will fill out the entry of the Pokédex and it is now registered. So
I mean it checks all of the boxes for fun completionist mentalities. Like you
so losers who do that, I don't know.
You go in and you catch a Pokemon, and then you open a little booklet and you see checks, and you're like, oh, I want to get all of these. I want to get all of these checks. And then you give it to a professor and you get experience and you level up, and you're like, oh, I want to get to the fullest level. I want to continue doing this.
I had gotten to research level, or like, how you get those stars. I had gotten to like level like 7 before I even really continued. Before I even, I think, opened up like Coronet Highlands, I was already like, wow, because I spent so much time just exploring and battling and catching and doing all that stuff. Like I was like, should I be this far? Because I heard you just had to be 5, a 5th star, to be able to finish the game. And I was like,
it's almost like if you can do that, it's almost better that way, because you get a lot more points and experience for like catching Pokemon for the first time or anything. Like research stars 8 through 10, if you've already like beat the game and everything, is a grind, because like catching the same Pokemon, there's not a ton of, I mean, there is some new Pokemon you have to find, but a lot of the things you're seeing is something that you've already had, and you get more experience for catching newer things, catching them in interesting ways, like hitting them from the back and everything. So that last step is a grind.
But I do appreciate that they also allow some of the, so I mean, gosh, my familiarity with some of these Pokemon, like the ability to be able to level them is very difficult. Like very specific. Like Milotic, for example, like you have to get like a maxed out beauty, or like trade with like a heart scale or some kind of something. But like I liked that they had, I mean, there's like an alpha Blissey. I don't think I've ever had a Blissey in a game, because I just never wanted to like take the time to get the Chansey to get the Blissey, because Chanseys are usually pretty hard to catch. And I was just like, oh, that's Blissey. Like, I can just catch this. Like, it's just right here. Or like the Empoleon that's like hanging out in the Cobalt Coastlands, which is still super hard for me to say.
Cobalt Coastlands.
It just, I can't like
I feel
seamlessly go between the two. I stop.
I have to think about it first every time. Like, is that how I say it? Okay.
It's never a smooth transition between those. But it's just, I thought that was really neat, because it's like, oh shit, like these are like the Alpha Alakazam. I'm like, Like
Yeah.
he's gonna destroy my life if I go over near him.
Yeah.
I thought that was a neat like aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, and it all makes sense too, right? Because you're in this world. Of course, there's going to be a Blissey in existence without a human getting it to its evolution like point. So the fact that you can run into a Blissey is awesome, but it still makes needing to catch a Chansey and kind of either use it on your team or catch a bunch or defeat a bunch like necessary so you can level that entry up and complete your thing.
I got a Piplup and I got a Napoleon, but I don't have a Primplup.
So I have a Hundo club going. If you're a part of our Discord, every time I get a perfect Pokédex entry, I throw my picture in our Pokemon channel and welcome the newest member of the Hundo club. And one of the Hundo club lines is Turtwig, Grotle, and Torterra. And if Piplup is anything like Turtwig, only a couple spawn, obviously. They both are like that. But if you keep going back to their spawn, there is a very rare chance that the second in the line will show up instead of the Turtwig or Piplup. So if you feel like grinding that, there's a chance you might just run into one. I had to do it for Grotle because I was lazy and didn't want to catch a bunch of Turtwigs and evolve it.
Another mechanic that we hadn't talked about is the and I'm blanking on the names, like the big like purple domes that randomly show up.
The distortions. Time distortions.
Yeah. Those are super cool. Those are really interesting because
love those.
Yeah, in the beginning it was cool too because when they first pop up, it's just like there and they're just normal Pokemon in it. But when it officially forms, Pokemon that don't usually spawn in that areas or that you really see at all show up. And it was really cool to be like, oh, that's a Rhyperior. Like I saw a Rowlet in there and it's like, oh, that's cool. I'm seeing starter Pokemon in there as well.
Yeah.
I saw a Cyndaquil in one. And I still like, I mean, like I said, I started with red and blue and you did not get a Porygon unless you spent all this time in the game corner and like had to buy it, just like you could buy the Dratini. And so when I saw a Porygon spawn, I'm like, oh my god!
I want that.
And I haven't seen a Magnemite in the wild at all. I've only ever seen it in the Rift.
I think
I've seen some in the last. What's not the last area or the second to last?
Why
am I blanking?
The Highlands?
Coronet Highlands.
Yes. Because I also seen at the top the camp right before you go to the peak. There's actually a Magnezone that floats around down there too.
Oh.
And he flies around. He flies around like Crobat and Gyarados does. There's a
I have seen that.
Mm-hmm.
See, I've played almost 70 hours. Had no idea that existed.
Yeah, there's in the first area between when you go to what's that Lake Verity? Is Lake Verity in the there's a Togekiss above too.
Oh
I
I've seen that.
I haven't seen Togekiss. Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, where there's those two mountains, and you go through, and then that you get to the lake. There's a Togekiss up high.
You just throw a jet ball from the ground.
Yeah.
I tried.
Well, like the Gyarados ones, like the Magnezone, they're hard to do. But yeah, it's where all like the electric types. So there's like Rotom and the Luxrays and the Voltorbs. It's that area right there.
That was one that I was going to say. I did catch a Rotom before we came on.
I have not seen one yet.
It was the first one I saw, and it was like really cool looking. And I was like,
well, it's cool because
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, Rotom changes its forms, and there's like a fan in your room, and you can use these objects to change Rotom's
You can
form.
buy them.
Oh, you can buy them. Oh, I didn't know.
If you go to
the rare vendor.
What's the merchant guild called? Whoever the merchant guild is, that guy that's like chilling. If you go talk to him, you can buy. He'll be like, I got this weird piece of whatever, like this water thing. Yep. So I bought the Rotom Heat, Rotom Mo, and Rotom Wash. I have those. They're really expensive, like 40,000. Fake Pokebucks.
I bought like a washer that was like, one of them was like 80 grand. Like, it was a ridiculous amount. I go to him and I everything he offers, I just buy.
Yeah,
because I don't know how often it cycles to those items that you're talking about
specifically.
Amy. So every time if you walk past him, he's like, "Oh, got some rare stuff." Then that means he got something new in after you buy something. So make sure you go talk to him and buy.
I think that's how you can change the forms.
Yep. Yeah, but that's where the Rotom spawn. They spawn right below the peak of Mount Coronet, where the Luxray and the Voltorb are.
Yeah. That's the first
Is
one I
that
ran
where the
into.
Electivire is it?
No, it's like right before that noble. Like,
because you walk up that snowy path and you turn, there's like a Luxray and Electabuzz right there, but right
Yeah.
before that, there's right in that grassy area, right the area where you fought the Electrode Alpha. Not the Alpha.
Oh,
the,
okay.
Yeah, you
Frenzied
literally
one.
like go to that camp, and if you're like facing away from your tent, you just turn left, and it's like right.
Yeah,
there.
I haven't found those, and that's a fun thing. I remember I was doing some exploring, and I came across the Turtwig that's like kind of tucked back by some little pond, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because again, I still operate under the idea that like you can only get
starters.
In the wild?
Yeah.
Like
What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right where that Empoleon is, if you go up into the grass a little bit, kind of where the Golducks are, there's a Piplup up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And I mean, I still operate under the assumption that some of these are like crazy rare. Although I haven't seen a Gengar. Oh wait, I did. I saw one in a distortion.
Yeah, that's where I caught mine was the distortion.
And I run every time. Am I the only one? Like, I'm not the only one that just runs around and grabs all the stuff and the distortions.
Yeah.
I do.
That's what I do.
I'll do the same thing. I'll grab all the stuff and then I'll run away and hide in grass, and then I'll wait for them to spawn, and then I'll just throw my jet balls.
Yeah.
All I do is I just run around, grab stuff, or if I see a shiny, which the first shiny I caught in the game was a Shinx, and it was in like the first rift I ever went in. I was like, wow, what are the odds?
Yeah.
And then I'll try to catch Eevees, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Unless there's something like I did catch like 2 Quillavas in one.
Oh, cool.
But like if it's something that isn't super rare, or like I just want a ton of Eevees so I can do all the evolution stuff.
I have seen the evolution spawn in there too. Like I ran into a Flareon and a Leafeon too in the distortions.
Yeah, and I think each area has different forms of the evolutions too. Like in the first area, you get I think it was a Leafeon and maybe Sylveon. Is what the ones that I found, and then if you go to different distortions in different areas, you find different ones, which was a neat thing. I can't think of the word I want.
I'm definitely on the lookout for more of the Arceus starters, mainly Rowlet, because I just straight up evolved him all the way without getting the research up to level 10. So
I was like, that's where I'm at right now. I have a Chimchar like level 40, but I was like, he was in a battle with me and he's leveled up, but I still need to get the research tasks for him. And I'm like, let's just slow down and get these.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh cool, I can evolve it. And then I was like, oh no, I'm only at like level 1. What have I done?
I did the exact same thing.
We never said it, but what starters did you guys go with?
Oh yeah. I would like to talk about our teams. That would be really cool. I picked Oshawott.
Cyndaquil.
I also picked Cyndaquil.
Nice. Right now my team is
oh gosh, my team is wild.
Heracross, and I've been running with this team for the majority of the game. Heracross, Alolan Ninetales, Arcanine. I can never say this Pokemon's name. Zora Arc, whatever that evolved one is. Dude, it looks so freaking gnarly. I love it.
I love it.
Normal Ghost too? That's crazy typing. First one.
God.
Basculegion.
Ghost Normal is probably one of the best types in the whole game.
Oh, absolutely.
Dude, it's awesome. I love it. Basculegion, which has become one of my favorite Pokemon in the game.
I'm glad they gave Basculin some love. The other Pokemon too. It's like Quillfish. It's like, thank God, Quillfish needed an evolution.
Okay, Quillfish's evolution looks like a tree topper.
Yeah, he does. But I'm glad they gave him some love.
Something you should put on the top of your Christmas tree.
Overquill also.
Did I
fantastic name?
Oh yeah, and then Samurott, obviously. I always forget about it. But what do you guys got?
I have my team here. And my team's interesting because right now I'm also like getting research tasks for them. So I have like Cherim and Flareon. I have a Chimchar, Electivire, Cresselia, and Wishcash. So my team's kind of all over the place.
What's your like team that you would take to do like the story missions there at the end?
So I had Typhlosion. I used Quillfish, and I didn't want to look anything up and my Quillfish wasn't evolving for the longest time, and I found out you have to do 10 strong style moves of the barrage. What's it called? I forgot what the move's called, but something barrage, the poison type one, to make him evolve. So I didn't get into Overquill until like the very end. Oh gosh, what else did I use? I think I had a Snorlax on my team. I had
a Mime Junior for a very long time.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Not a fan. How do you feel about Mr. Rhyme? Mr. Mime's evolution, the gross tap dancing hat guy.
No, I'm okay.
I don't remember the rest of my team has changed so much. I had a Yanmega. Yanmega's like one of my favorite Pokemon, and I had a Yanmega on my team for the longest time as well. It's adorable. We need more Dragonfly Pokemon.
It's pretty cool.
My favorite. Those are my favorite types.
Yeah.
I think I ended up with Typhlosion. I had a Gudra because the Dragon Steel type is pretty good. Obviously, if there's more fairies, there weren't a whole lot of fairies in the game, that kind of takes care of that. Let's see, I had that. I had a Braviary because I loved the flying psychic type.
That's pretty cool.
Who else did I have? Shoot. I had Braviary. I had the awkward teenage stage. Who's the one that?
Oh, Sneasler.
Oh,
yeah,
Sneasler.
I
don't like that name.
What a hilarious name. There's
Sneeze.
He's more Sneezely. So it's called Sneasler.
We'll call him
we'll do
Sneasler.
that. Yeah. How many did I list? Typhlosion, Braviary, the Gudra, Sneasler. I had Cleaver.
Oh
nice.
Yeah.
Because I think Rock Bug's a pretty good typing.
Yeah,
and then
that's really cool. Yeah.
Who was my last one? Electrode.
Oh, cool.
Nice. Yeah, I had Scyther for a really long time, and then evolved it into Cleaver and had Cleaver for a while too. I forget who I was telling it to, but I loved like those no evolution like Pinsir, Scyther, Magmar, Electabuzz
getting
Pokemon from those first gen Pokemon games. So yeah, I really wanted to. And Heracross, for some reason, I do not have a reason, but like Heracross is one of my favorite Pokemon.
He's a really cool type. He's really cool.
But like, so I was like, yeah, of course, gotta have Heracross.
Yeah.
And then I rocked Scyther for a long time because I had never used one in the old games, and I always thought it was cool. And then plus,
Scizor.
You got Cleaver, and then you got Scizor.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I have come to like bug Pokemon. I really feel like they've been doing pretty good. Like Vespiquen. Usually, obviously, bug Pokemon have so many weaknesses, but Vespiquen can tank a hit. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But
in recent games, I've been really giving love to bug Pokemon.
They're pretty sweet. There's so many other mechanics, and I don't want to like spend another hour on this section, but like so you have like the campsites, fast travel between sites and stuff. So that's kind of nice. You have the mounts, obviously, which is a super cool thing. Like getting to ride around on Pokemon, like that's amazing.
It just makes sense. Why would you not ride these creatures?
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let's see some of the big. So when you're encountering or battling, well, I guess both would be a battle, so that was dumb. When you're battling Pokemon, like you can run around. Like
that's
you're not
really
stationary.
Cool. That's really cool.
You can like literally just run around.
You can also run from the battle. If you run too far away, then the battle ends, and you're like, I don't want to be here anymore. Peace out.
Yeah. And like we mentioned earlier, if you are too close or in between the Pokemon and you get hit by the attack, like you fall over, like you get literally hit, which is really cool. Which brings us to another thing. Like when you're in the overworld,
Pokemon are angry.
Will attack you, and
especially Paris.
Yes, Paris. My God, the bane of every trainer's existence.
I couldn't believe Psyduck ended up being one of the aggressive ones.
Oh yeah, I love Psyduck too. Another one I don't really have a reason
he's a big
for.
Old derp.
I love Psyduck. Probably because I relate on a multitude of levels with Psyduck.
Constant headaches.
Yes, yes, actually, and then I'm just like, kind of chubby and dopey, and all I want to, anyways, Pokemon will kill you. as the trainer. Like that is awesome. And then when you get knocked out as the trainer, you drop some items in your satchel, and they appear in other players' games who can
Which is
retrieve
super
them
cool.
for you, which
That's
is
really
a kind of cool
Yeah.
mechanic they added there.
Another thing you get really well rewarded for.
Yes.
Yeah, the stuff
'cause
in
you
the
get-
satchels are really good.
You get those you get the merit points too, which you can use to buy like evolution
Items.
stones and stuff like that.
One thing that I just sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that
No,
I
go ahead.
just learned was that if you're in the overworld and all your Pokemon die, you don't white out. You could still run around and go back to the camps and heal them.
Oh, I never
Really?
Yeah, I was fighting the Darkrai and it wiped my team, and I was still alive, and I just ran back to the camp and slept, and my Pokemon healed. But you don't white out if all your Pokemon faint, so
That's
which is
awesome.
cool.
No,
I didn't know
you're
that.
just the one that dies.
Yeah.
Exactly. You just have no way of protecting yourself. So if the
Right.
trainer is
Wow.
attacked, then he does faint. But if all your Pokemon faint, you could still explore the world. You can still
That's
ride all the
super
Pokemon
cool,
and
though.
everything. So I just flew back to the camp and healed, and then went back to catch the Darkrai.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Let's see what else. I'm trying to run through some of the like real big noticeable changes, but like
I think we hit a lot of them.
yeah, they're all kind of escaping me at this point. Mechanics. My rating, I'm just gonna give this a 5. Like I think,
absolutely.
it's just
100%.
the changes. This added a lot of spice to a pretty stale gameplay loop.
Yeah.
We all know it, but we love the stale, boring gameplay loop because we buy all the Pokemon games and play them.
Yep.
But this is so refreshing.
Agreed.
And it just feels updated and natural and like logical in the terms of the world you're playing in. And honestly, I'm going to find it difficult to go back to a more traditional mainline Pokemon game after this. I feel like they've incorporated some small similar type mechanics from even like Pokemon Go with, releasing your wild Pokemon, and instead of getting the candies, you get the grit rocks and stones and dust and whatever, which you then use to power up your Pokemon, much like you do the candies and Go, which I think is really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just really don't know how they go back.
I don't feel like they
I don't think
put the
they-
cat back into the bag. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think they
people are
do
gonna
at this point.
Yeah, I don't think people are going to be happy unless they like innovate or at least hit like what they achieved in Arceus, whatever, Arceus or whatever, again. So
There is rumors floating around, though. I don't know if people see it, and they're again just rumors. But that Pokemon's going. I mean, Game Freak's going to make a Pokemon game that's specifically competitive, kind of like a Pokemon Stadium for competitive, and keep Legends Arceus as kind of the Legends kind of game as the main series going forward, which would be interesting.
Be super cool.
I would love to play competitive Pokemon, but like you said before, the time required to even stand a chance against these people.
Make that easier. They made it. They mitigated a little bit in Sword and Shield, like being able to rent teams from people that had already created stuff was fun and allowed me to do competitive. But yeah, if they make grinding and breeding easier, then that would be great.
There's so many little trolls though.
I say like I know what you guys are talking about.
Well, it's
Totally.
the meta of the game can be kind of discouraging, I think, when it comes to online battling, because you start seeing the same teams all the time and you don't really stand a chance unless you like use these specific ones. So
that's pretty across the board, I think, for any like competitive game. I was
even though with like
super big into MOBAs, played League of Legends for like 6 years straight. And once people min-max find,
that's
the
all
best
they do.
in slot, so to speak.
And,
I mean, if you want to
I
win
feel like that's
and
all
rank
it
up,
is.
you're just gonna follow the meta.
And the unfortunate thing with Pokemon is if you have a favorite Pokemon and it's not competitively viable, then you're just like, then that's it. You could try to find a way, but some Pokemon really aren't good. Like if Charizard's your favorite Pokemon, bless your soul, but Charizard is not.
First off, good luck catching one in Arceus.
Yeah, why is Charizard so hard to catch?
Oh my god, I found one before I downloaded the patch, and I didn't realize that you cannot catch it if it changes form before the patch.
Really?
Oh, I didn't even know there was a patch.
Yeah.
And I must have patched because the one that I caught tonight, which I exclaimed in all caps in Discord because I finally caught one,
Yeah.
changed form, and I was like, "Oh, that's neat," and then I caught it, and so I would have been enraged if I couldn't.
I wasted like 16 Ultra Balls, and I was like, why is this Cherim as hard to catch as a legendary? It's a Cherim.
Oh, I will say this was something I wanted to bring up, but forgot about. I will say, like, some of the Pokemon feel like way too easy to catch. When I caught like the legendaries, I'm throwing
absolutely
one ball and catching them.
I definitely feel like there's a happy medium that we didn't reach, because sometimes it is rage inducing trying to catch a legendary. It is unnecessary.
Absolutely.
I have done everything you asked. I have paralyzed it or put it to sleep. Its health is in the red. Why am I still wasting 20 Ultra Balls on this? Like, come on.
Yeah.
But I feel like we maybe went a little too far in the other direction.
Yeah. That dark red that I fought just earlier today, when I said I wiped my team, I went back there and I didn't even fight it. I threw a jet ball, hit it in the back, and caught it in the first ball I threw, and I was like,
yeah,
sure. Why not?
I'm like throwing great balls at like level 54 full health Pokemon I'm not even attacking, like in the encounter, like not in the overworld, and catching it.
Because you're such a good Pokemon master. We're from the other dimension. That's
right. They just can't handle. They don't stand a chance. But yeah, Paris
beware.
Paris always stands a chance. It's we that do not stand a chance. So I give it a 5. Jared, what do you give this section here?
I'm going there with you. I think that, like you were saying, like we were talking about, they did a fantastic job of just building upon and making these mechanics fun and making it so interesting with the world as well. Like, everything is so fluid, everything bleeds together. Catching, exploring, getting crafting items, all of those things kind of just blend together into a very fun, very addicting. Like I said, throwing Pokeballs has never felt so good. And like you were saying, going back to the old mechanic is going to be interesting. I was watching someone stream Sword and Shield, and like, it feels weird not being able to throw Pokeballs. Like, why can't I throw Pokeballs in this? But I think they did a great job, and I think that I think there's some tweaks that could be done with it, definitely going forward. But I think it was so much fun. 5.
Yeah. Samesies.
5.
I'd give it a 5.
What would you? Sorry, I was typing and I had my mic muted because I have a clickety clackety keyboard. What would you change?
Gosh.
I think a lot of the things I change come down to like performance wise too. Like, Pokemon popping in and out is an interesting thing. I think it would be cool to have a fully seamless world. I don't know. I don't know if that would take away from the experience, because having it segmented didn't deter me from anything. Sitting through a cutscene wasn't like, oh man, this game sucks, got to sit through a cutscene. But it would be interesting to have it be just a fully open experience, just like go everywhere. That's the thing. I think that, like, because it is segmented and because it feels so seamless at the same time, there's a lot of areas I went to explore, and it was just like, oh, you can't go there, sorry. And I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. That kind of pulled me out of the experience a little bit. So I think having something seamless like that would be interesting. But I don't know. I don't know how they could improve on it.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed with the sections of the map. Like, I do wish you could just freely walk out of Jubilife into the Mirelands, or
even just that, even if just Jubilife and like the Mireland, like those two interconnecting ones that are close to each other, were like
the Firelands, I believe is the one, the Obsidian Fireland, whatever. Yeah, the first stage. Like, I wish I could just walk out of the gate.
But I understand. I get it.
Shoot, there was. You brought up like popping in and out, and I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but I love like when you're fighting a Ghastly, or like I think the Drift Blooms do this too, but like
the ghost
they
types.
just kind of like disappear.
Don't
and,
disappear and come
pop
back.
up
I
somewhere
like
else.
Mhm.
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
That makes
that's
sense for the ghost types.
Yeah.
I like
And-
fighting Haunter, and then like I get attacked by one randomly. I'm like,
yeah.
Where did
Or,
you
like,
come from?
I've
Right.
thrown like many Pokeballs and then they disappear and the ball just goes flying
yeah,
past them.
you're like,
I'm like, duh, dang it.
goodbye, Pokeball.
Yeah, solid. I mean, 5. I mean, across the
Yeah.
board. It's
I
so
think it's
good.
great. I think it's great.
Yeah.
The next category here is replayability, and I also don't know if that's how you spell that word, but we're gonna go with it.
We're good.
Yes.
We'll say yes.
So
This is going to be an interesting one.
replayability.
I guess I'll start here. I think that like replayability in the sense of just like the whole experience from like start to like 100% complete, because that is my goal. I'm not going to do that yet, and I might take breaks in between doing that because completing the dex entries for everything is going to be a grind. But I don't know. I this one will be an interesting one because I replay Pokemon games all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and it is very linear experience, and I don't know how I would feel jumping back into this because in the beginning it does feel a little slow. The intro is like an hour before you're like pushed out into the world. I think that if I did come back to it, it'd have to be quite a long time after, because even though the catching and the battling is fun, it is a lot of the same, you know.
Yeah.
And after you've done that once and after you've completed everything, I don't know how much I would enjoy going back and having to do that same grind all over again, kind of back to back. So I would say in the sense of just like between start and 100%, I think that you can come back and it has a lot of replayability. But after you've done what you need to do with the game, I think for a lot of people it might be hard to jump back into this Pokemon game specifically.
I wonder if we should define what we mean by replayability. Like,
Yeah.
are we going to talk about, like you said, completely restarting and go like literally replaying the game, or
Yeah.
are we going to consider this like continuing, like continual play or whatever?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
after, you know, we beat the main story, like, are you going to go on in the post game? Are you going to go on and try to 100%?
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. I don't know if at least right away, I don't think this game could be fun to completely restart and play through again.
It seems like a lot.
It's a lot. It is a lot. But if we're talking in terms of like continual play after, like, instead of, I don't know, I guess think of it as almost like New Game Plus in Arceus or whatever. Does that change your mind or your opinion?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This is a game that I can see myself coming back to and jumping in and grinding little parts for like the next like coming months or like the rest of this year, like going in and chipping away a little Pokemon here and there. And I think it's perfect for that mentality. I think it's perfect for, especially after you've done Endgame and after you've done like all the legendaries and finished all the side quests and everything, you know, barring any possible DLC that gets announced sometime soon, possibly. I think that going away and picking up, plugging away at a couple dex entries and going back out is kind of that perfect mentality. And I think it's fantastic for that.
What about you, Amy?
I actually, for me, I think the replayability is pretty high. Simply because like, I feel like by the end of the game, I've kind of found my like groove, so to speak, and I like figured out like mechanics that were meant to be utilized earlier, that I like the grit I could have been,
I don't want to talk about the grit, okay? I'm a little salty about that.
I could have been utilizing that and probably not being wiped so many times from Pokemon that I felt like shouldn't be wiping a team. But so I think it, to me, for one thing, I kind of felt like a little like loyalty to my Cyndaquil and my Typhlosion. And so I felt, so because of the way that I team build and my like chronic need to have balanced teams, I felt like I kind of missed out on some of these other Pokemon that I could have used. Like I don't really like having repeating types on my teams. And I didn't feel like with the amount of new Pokemon they had that was necessary. So like I had I didn't want to use Arcanine because I already had a fire type, and I also had a rock type in using Cleaver, and then I didn't really want to use Hisuian Zoroark, who is easily probably my favorite of the Hisuian forms, because I already had the ghost type. So I think for me, being able to like have a better idea of like how the game is supposed to be played and how the mechanics are meant to work, and like maybe understanding the Pokédex a little bit more now before like as opposed to later. I would like the ability to go through and try to like I guess play the game well, and I also, because I streamed it, so I didn't want to do too much like detouring. I kind of wanted to like stay on rails, sort of. I did a okay job, but I kind of wish now that I had gone through and worked on some of these old requests like back when I got them. So for me, I would be okay, because like I said, I like to build new teams and I want to see what else I can use, and like use Pokemon that I didn't really feel like were a benefit to my team because of redundancies. But so for me, replayability is pretty high because I want to see what I can do now that I know what I know.
Right. So. Yeah, you might be changing my mind and my opinion on this too, because one of the reasons I go and play back through old Pokemon games is that I just love Pokemon in general. But one of the things I usually do if I'm not randomizing the game specifically is I play Pokemon that are either like that nobody decides to play with or that I usually don't. And I think when I was thinking of like the idea of replaying Legends Arceus was just like, oh man, going through the story again, not that it was bad, but just like it is a lot at some times. But if I think about it, it's like, okay, less that and less like now I can explore new opportunities and new possibilities of the Pokemon that I didn't give a chance in this. Like, sure, let's run a different kind of Pokemon. Let's run a different kind of team. Let's do grits in the beginning because that is definitely beneficial for your team. Let's try a new starter and everything like that. Those things are definitely appealing. And if I focused on the Pokemon and that instead of like, let's run through the story again, I think that the idea of playing through this is more appealing to me.
That's one thing that I always want to do going back into the old Pokemon games. Like I want to use, because I fall in that trap of like I just always somehow manage to have the same Pokemon on my team through like every game.
So and randomizers are fun.
Yeah, exactly. And that our first attempt at recording some footage for the Lock series was my first time playing a randomized ROM, and that was wild.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I caught like a level 2 Articuno. Like what?
And Articuno from the beginning, and I was like,
he catches like a level 4 Mew or something. It was ridiculous. But yeah, I'll restart a Pokemon game with every intention to have a diverse new team, and it never happens. I always
I used to do that. When I would play through Pokemon. It would always be the same. Be the same. It'd always be Charizard. I'd always have Charizard because I just think I love him. I love him so much. I would always but then I would always struggle because Ninetales is probably my favorite. So I'd be like, I don't know what to do. But now that I have been playing games and I know more about team building and I've seen I would probably have never used a Heracross or a Sizer or a Vespiquen. Some of these I guess because in competitive Pokemon they have these categories like overused, never used, rarely used ones. Having seen people build these teams around these Pokemon that I would have never considered putting on my team, it makes me want to see what I can do with all of this. There's so many unique typings, like we were saying, bug fighting, that's crazy. Normal ghost.
That's such a wild type.
It's just you usually don't see I think the only bug rock Pokemon that there was what is his name? I can see him.
Crustle.
He's
one of them.
Crustle.
And some of the Pokemon. I feel like
I love Crustles.
Some of the fossils.
Oh, Kabuto?
I don't remember.
Trying to go Bug Rock.
Yeah. So, but anyways, so just seeing what I can build with Pokemon that I would not usually pick, but that's been something that I've just recently been more willing to do, because like I said before, it was usually just I like Pokemon and I'm just gonna use this.
Yeah, I found too that like going back and like replaying games and picking Pokemon or doing randomizers and using Pokemon I normally wouldn't gave me new appreciations for them. That's why Yanma is one of my favorite Pokemon. Like I look at Yanma and it's like, yeah, it's a dragonfly bug. And then like using it, I was playing through I think Gold and Silver one time and I ran into one. I was like, sure, let's use it. And I was like, I love this little guy. He's adorable and he's great. And he stayed on my team until like the very end. And so
They're
it's like
fast.
oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, Yanma and Yanmega are really fast, and they have speed boost too, which is also just benefits their speed in general. But doing that gives you new appreciation to Pokemon that you might have never looked at just because you have your favorites and they're there. That's great.
Right.
Like Charizard's awesome, but try different starters, and maybe you'll find you love Venusaur or Blastoise or whatever.
Yeah.
I love Bulbasaur. It's my favorite. One Pokemon that I have never really used before was Vulpix. And I, of course, hadn't played past Ruby and Sapphire really. So, like, I didn't get to experience these crazy new, like, regional forms.
Alolan.
So when I got the Alolan Vulpix, I mean, I know of the different forms from playing Pokemon Go, but that's not the same. And Pokemon Unite, obviously, because Alolan Ninetales is in Pokemon Unite, which that was the first time I really was like, oh, this is an ice Pokemon. That's pretty rowdy.
Ice Fairy.
I know having
so
having fairy moves is so good,
dude.
So good.
One, I just realized that the lights kind of match the tie-dye of my hoodie.
They also match. Is it like diamond and pearl?
That's what I said when
Yeah,
first
that's
into
what
the
he
call.
said.
I was like, oh, diamond and pearl. Sinnoh, did you do that on purpose?
Totally unintentional, but we're gonna pretend like it was intentional.
There you go.
But yeah, Alolan Ninetales is probably my favorite Pokemon on my team right now, and I love using it. Like Fairy Ice typing is super cool.
So cool.
Like I have Draining Kiss and Blizzard and Ice Beam and shoot. What is the other fairy move? I have 2 fairy moves, 2 ice moves, and I'm just like obliterating like everything. It's I love it. And I just love it. Looks so pretty.
Cool.
Like,
so cool.
Yeah, I love it. Like
I
I said,
also
I've got a picture. You can't see it in my background, but there's I have a picture with Alolan Ninetales on the top, and then it looks like a playing card kind of, and then
cool.
Kantoy and Ninetales on the bottom.
Oh, that's so cool.
They're my favorite.
I was in a Twitter stream and someone didn't know that the Kanto Ninetales existed. They thought it was only the Ice Fairy one. They're like, why is that one yellow? I was like, oh God, that's wild.
Let me teach you something.
Yeah.
Sit down, Sonny. Back in my day, Ninetales used to.
Yeah, exactly.
Pokemon just had one type.
Exactly.
Oh man, I also love that. Like in my the first few Pokemon that I 100%ed entries for were the Machop line. Why? Nice. I have no idea. But yeah, I just like stumbled on like, oh, fighting types are weak to fairy moves. That is so like hilarious and like ironic. Like it's just like, fighting big macho. Like you have like a fairy kissing Machamp and he's like, oh, so like get away from it. I don't know. I love that like weakness there. I don't know. So it's like super funny.
I love these. I love new variants of these Pokemon.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I love
so cool.
Alolan Ninetales is amazing. Alolan Marowak is one
Ghost
of my
Fire
favorites.
is so cool. I love.
Oh my god!
Too.
Like, it just I love seeing these new like ideas for these Pokemon. Like,
and it makes sense.
Like, the new evolutions. Like we have. I don't think we've seen evolution since we saw like Electivire, Magmortar, and Rhyperior. I don't think there have been like continuations of those since those guys. But I also, as an aside, Electivire is truly terrifying to me. I don't know what it is about him, but he instills fear. Like I don't want to mess with him.
He's adorable when he sleeps, though. He kind of like crosses his legs and like lays back. He looks like a big chillin'.
I love it.
But I love regional variants. Oh my gosh,
it breathes new life into like the existing Pokemon, which is really cool.
Yeah, and it makes total sense in the world of the game too. Because I mean, you have black bears, you have polar bears, you have. I mean, like obviously your environment's going to affect the way you adapt and evolve. So like,
and a lot of people will like play that off as lazy. They're like, well, why don't you just make new Pokemon? And it's just like it I like this idea because it
Yeah.
brings a new light into, like I said, the Pokemon that you love and exist. Like, what happens if Arcanine was a rock type, or what happens if
Right.
Ninetales is an ice type? Like, those things are really cool and cool ideas too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's be real. A lot of new Pokemon designs kind of suck. Like,
Also,
You don't like keys? You don't
I
want to
don't-
use some keys or two
I
ice cream cones?
love
I didn't want it.
Klefki.
I didn't.
Don't
wanna...
even get me started on Klefki. The number of
Klefki's
times I have seen
adorable.
Swagger and Minimize is enough
Okay,
to
that's
break
fair.
a game.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll get that. Swagger does make my blood boil. And it's like,
Yeah.
even
the-
using it, it's like, do you want to learn Swagger? It's like, oh no, I don't want to
No,
put that on anybody.
I'm not an asshole.
Exactly. I'm not a monster. I would never do that.
the first time I ran into a Vanillite or whatever, I was like,
What is this?
Yeah, and
I
everyone
couldn't even say anything. I was
yeah,
just
everyone
so
puts that on like
disappointed.
new generations, or like, but Grimer's just sludge, Magnemize just a magnet. Like all the Kanto Gen 1 Pokemon
Yeah.
also had like random weird Pokemon as well
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I definitely fall. I just love the obviously more like creature oriented like
Yeah.
ones.
Or like
but,
sock and just like dudes. Like they're just
And
man.
as much as I love, I mean, dragon types are my favorite Pokemon. Like hands down, it's my favorite typing. But oh shit, what's his name? He's in Sword and Shield.
Is it dragon type?
narrow
Steel
that
dragon
one down
type.
for us.
Oh,
And he is the
Steel
stu-
Dragon.
He's the stupidest. They made him his like Gigantamax.
Duraludon. He's just a building. His Gigantamax, he's like a skyscraper.
Yeah, I was like, what is dragon like to you guys about
Steel
this?
Dragon is cool though. Before him,
It's a
I think
cool
it was just
typing,
Dialga.
but I think they did it so much better with Gudra.
Oh yeah.
Turns into a building.
It's a building.
Dragapult is 100% better than Duraludon. Dragapult is
100%.
so cool. He's a jet.
100%.
He shoots
think-
his weaker evolutions out of his head.
And
How cool is that?
They're so happy to do it too. It says it in the Pokédex. They love it.
Exactly.
But yeah, I loved him.
Yes, but back on
And that's why
Sorry.
Arceus Legends is replayable.
yes, because we have Steel Dragon Skyscraper. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Or cakes.
No,
Cakes too.
I think
Oh, God.
your Amy's point does lend a little more of the
Yeah.
actual like replayability
Yeah.
factor to me. But the continual play,
Yeah.
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 I don't know. I'm a completionist, and
Mhm.
I love. Back when I was in my PlayStation days, I was a big trophy hunter guy. When I played
Yeah.
WoW, I was a big achievement guy.
Mm.
And the way the Pokédex works now, it's just
Mhm.
that those feel like trophies, especially the
Absolutely.
perfect Pokédex
Those
entries.
hit a dopamine, those instant
yep.
gratification.
Yep.
It's just like it's perfect.
Yeah, and like going for the Pokédex entries, the perfect entries, like again, we already talked about, but it just makes the grind feel more impactful. Like you're actually working towards something, instead of just leveling Pokemon or catching Pokemon. But yeah, I foresee myself playing this for a while longer, even though I've already dumped 70 hours in.
Yeah, I think it's just hard with like open world RPGs in general. I think that it would take time before I jump back into Legends Arceus, just like any other thing. If you're playing through like Assassin's Creed or like Breath of the Wild, like I finished that and I was like, okay, I need some time away from Breath of the Wild, and then I'll jump back into it. That doesn't mean it's a bad game. That just means it was a lot, and I gotta take a break. And I need a break from it for a little bit.
Yeah,
those games where there's so many different like avenues that you can take and so many different things, you can get caught up in it, and it's just like, when was the last time I actually did a main storyline mission?
Exactly.
Yeah, I still have a few side quests to do.
I have a lot.
I did finish like the main story post game stuff. Yesterday, so all I have left is Arceus.
Oh, nice. I just got to the genie trio, the incarnate ones.
Yeah, I haven't started to find those. I don't really know where to find them.
They're yeah, it's fun.
What's her name gives you like vague things like, if it's raining in the mountains, then like Thunderous is probably there. And you're like, okay, I guess that's cool.
Kogita lady?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have not gone back to see her.
Start out in the Obsidian Firelands one. That'll be a nice little training
Good.
session for you guys. But yeah, I love the fact that, again, this is a mechanical thing that just popped in my head, but like you have to complete the Pokédex to be able to encounter Arceus. Super cool.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
He's a creator of all Pokemon.
You complete the Pokédex, you get the shiny charm, which is cool.
Yes.
You complete perfect Pokédex entries, and your odds for shiny encounters for that Pokemon are cut in half or something.
Yeah.
Just little things like that. Pretty cool. But for this replayability factor, let's assign a number here.
Okay. I will give it. I'm gonna give it a 4. This is numbers are weird. I think that in the continuous play and picking it up and pitching chipping away at it time by time, I think is fantastic. I think like I think for a lot of people, after you've done a lot of the things in the game, they probably won't visit it for a while. I think that jumping back into it for a lot of people that aren't like addicted to Pokemon like some of us, all of us here are, it'll make going back to it kind of they might be a little hesitant jumping back into it. So I think for that, a 4 is probably the case. And I think that after I do everything that I feel like I need to do with this game, that it'll probably be a while before I jump back into Legends Arceus. But I will enjoy it because I'm going to try a new starter. I'm going to try new Pokemon, and I think all that is what I love of Pokemon games in general is the Pokemon and is using different Pokemon too.
What about you, Amy?
I think I'd probably give it like a 4.5. I think is where I would be at right now. There's a part of me that, like, as much as I really like streaming it, obviously because I love Pokemon games and I love being able to share that content. Even though there are people who literally make their whole like career off of doing that kind of stuff. It is. I actually just forgot the point that I was trying to make. I kind of there's a part of it. There's a part of me that kind of wishes I would have kept it for myself. Because if, like I said, it kind of feels like I couldn't do everything in the order that maybe I would have done if I was playing it on my own. So it would be pretty easy for me to want to do it again, just to kind of have that and try it myself. But it is very grindy, and I know that I get really easily lost in that because I just want to use all the Pokemon and have all the access to them. So I kind of lose myself and will lose like hours, and then I'm afraid that if I started it now, it would maybe start to feel more like a chore than something I could enjoy.
So
I'd say 4.5.
Spoiler alert, I said 4, so we
cool.
Just on
the
the completion factor of the Pokédex and all that adds a lot more reason for me to jump back in. And the fact that I'm still like learning new things that I haven't discovered in my almost 70 hours of play, like that Magnemite exists in places not in the Dimensional Rift, or like yesterday I thought I had uncovered the entire map for the Coronet Highlands, but apparently not, because I just stumbled on the area where the Clefairy spawn, and I was like, I didn't even know this was here. This is super cool. So like that is just awesome, and makes me want to go back and see what I've missed. So yeah, that kind of lands a 4 for me. The next two sections here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we got 2 more, but they shouldn't. I mean, we've kind of already talked about a lot of this stuff, so they shouldn't take nearly as long.
I feel like we could talk about this game for days.
I mean,
yes. We have immersiveness and experience. I'll go ahead and start this off. I wanted to make the point that this game, I think, is perfect for Pokemon vets and also people completely new to the Pokemon franchise. Just in the way that the game is structured and played out that we've already talked about. Like for the Pokemon vets, it's a cool, refreshing way to revisit Pokemon that have already existed. I mean, I know we have a few new evolutions for new Pokemon, but 95% of the Pokédex are Pokemon we already know and love. You have a few regional forms, some new evolutions, but It's a cool way to revisit those Pokemon in the way that the Pokédex works. It's a cool new story and new mechanics that you're not used to. But for somebody who's new to Pokemon, it's the first ever Pokemon game that they've ever played. It's like the perfect introduction because you're like the people of Hisui that you're trying to help. Like you are a Galaxy team member in Jubilife Village, but you get to like play it out. I just think if you had to recommend a Pokemon game for somebody who's never played Pokemon in their life, I would start with this one. Be like, just play this. You'll learn what the Pokédex is. You'll learn how people in Pokemon kind of became what they are in all the other games. But in the same breath, going to any other Pokemon game after this, I feel like would be a big step down in terms of gameplay. So maybe I'll rethink my statement, but I think from a conceptual and introduction standpoint of Pokemon, this is a great game to start with, which I thought experience-wise was cool for me as an experienced player getting to revisit all that stuff. Immersiveness, I think, is up there. You have like the sneaking around trying to catch Pokemon. You have just like the exploration of the open regions. The crafting makes you feel like, you know, you're living in this world. The river world is great. So for me, I think both of these are really high up there. And I don't know. It's just, this is probably the biggest point for this game for me. I think I said this in our Discord, but this game has made me feel like I felt the very first time I played Pokemon, like ever.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Like the mystery is there because it's so new and different. Like this is the point I was going to make a while ago. I've completely avoided looking anything up online.
Good
for you.
Avoided all the teasers all the teasers, all the teases before release, all the leaks, and then like I've really only watched Amy stream it. So I'm trying my best to experience this like I experienced Pokemon Yellow, which was the first Pokemon game I ever played. As far as like whenever I can't really figure something out, like I'll ask other people I know who are playing the game. But like I won't go and like Google it because I don't know. I don't want to do that. But I know that like the people I'm asking probably are just Googling it. But I don't know. It's a weird thing I'm doing. But anyways, it's just recaptured that awe for the Pokemon franchise for me, and because it's such a new take on the franchise. So I don't know if you guys felt something similar in your playthroughs, but it's like, I don't know, a whole wave of emotions and fun playing this game.
Sorry,
go for it.
Go?
You go.
I avoided a lot of the spoilers ahead of times, and I actually I watch so many PokeTubers play Pokemon games like competitively and stuff like that. I have not watched a single one of them play this game. I have not been interested in watching them play this game. I think there's a part of me that still feels really bizarre because Pokemon has been a part of my life, literally I was a child and I got a Game Boy Color from my grandma. Like it is ingrained in like who I am as a person. And it's just, I still sometimes think about bashing my head into the wall when I think about these people who like, they started in like Gen 4, Gen 5, and they literally made it a career. It's just like, but you, like, I don't get it. So I have avoided watching them play it at all. But I will say, as far as, I think it's a great introduction to Pokemon, like the world of Pokemon for new people who've never played. But as far as getting them into the older games, I don't know, because
it's so different.
It's so different.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they really enjoyed this game without
if they would enjoy the other ones, yeah.
Right, if without like the history, because I mean some of those older games are, it's a grind. Like you think this is a grind, like wait until like there's no experience share, and if you want to level
can't
your
run in red and blue.
Right.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you want to level your Pokemon, you better like get going, and the victory road, that's the best you're gonna get. So have fun. But so I think it's a great introduction into the world of Pokemon, and like I said, I love sharing Pokemon with anybody who's willing to listen. There's not a lot of people that are willing to listen, but I think it's a great introduction to that world, but maybe not to the older games.
Absolutely.
But immersiveness, I mean, I've seen so many funny videos that people have posted. The number of times I have panicked because I'm being like aggroed, or I saw this one video. It was a person who was on the edge of a cliff, and you could see like the little eye was going off, like something was targeting them. They couldn't find it, and this like not a Staravia came and just like bolted them off this cliff, and they drowned in the water.
Oh no.
Just like barreled into him, knocked him clean
That's
off
hilarious.
the cliff. Like I just that's funny, and that's like that's brings you into the game, and you know, like the first time I went into the water, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, this all right, well, that's what we're gonna do here.
No, I can't.
Nope.
I can't.
Nope, you're dead.
So I think it's been a fantastic experience playing this game, because there's so much of what I loved before, and it just, like I said, the more that I see these Pokemon in the overworld, the more that like 8-year-old Amy is filled with joy, because when I was a kid playing these games, I used to go into my backyard and pretend that it was like Professor Oak's like research, and like there's just like a field of Ponyta, like and now I'm seeing it, and it's so cool. So there's so much joy that I have from like childhood, and it just the world is becoming more than just a little sprite. So I mean, for me, this is like, it's a 5. Like I've been all about it. Like I said, there's a part of me that almost wishes I hadn't streamed it, so I like just had that. But I mean, by no means do I regret it. It was a blast. But this has been it's been awesome. It does feel like when I was a kid, because like I said, they're there, they're out there.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah, I definitely reflect a lot of the things that you guys said. Amy, like you were saying, like this Pokemon has been a part of my life forever. It's like an identity to me. Like I played all the games, and I played through all of them. And even though some of them are hit or miss, like I always get excited playing a new Pokemon game. Like I love Sun and Moon. I loved all these Pokemon games. I love Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, even though it kind of put Gen 4 into a different light for me. I still enjoy my time every single time I come into playing these. I think with Legends Arceus specifically is that, like you were saying, this is how I imagined Pokemon to be. Like I pretended this as a kid all the time. And I think that even if it didn't give me like that literal sense of feeling like a kid again, I think this game, besides any others, created a community discussion about Pokemon. Like when I was a kid, like we didn't have access to the internet, or wasn't as accessible to everybody. So it was just talking. It was talking about things, and just like in our conversation here, in this couple hours we've been talking, like we've all learned new things that the other person did that like we had no idea. And, like things like that are super cool. Like when it creates this discussion and this conversation around it, that's what I remember doing. That's what I remember like Pokemon being. I think with this specifically, there's a lot of the Pokemon that I knew about, and I think with all of like the advertisement beforehand, they did advertise a lot of like the Hisuian form, so I knew a lot of that going in. So there wasn't that like big surprise factor, because there was a full Pokedex of Pokemon that I wasn't like didn't know about and everything like that. But still, like the day-to-day gameplay, the countless times that I found myself like playing and looked up and like, oh, it's been 3 hours. Whoops. didn't mean to just and with that, like not progressing the story at all either, just doing like side quests and like capturing Pokemon in the wild. Like
I just reorganized my pastures and it's been
exactly
45 minutes.
I spend a lot of times organizing my box and like in my inventory, putting all my Pokeballs together, like doing stuff like that. Like I would say the only thing that broke the immersion at times was like when I was excited about exploring the area and then it cut off and it was like, you can't explore here. And I was like, that's right. I'm playing a video game that has limits and that has boundaries and stuff like that. But I would say that never really deterred me from the fun of it or the immersion, because I'd jump down and I would spend another 2 hours or so like running around
in another direction.
Exactly. I was like, cool, okay, I can't go that way. I guess I'll just go this other way.
See, and for me, like when I was young and like Red and Blue were the games, it was not. It wasn't cool to be into Pokemon. Like it wasn't something I talked
back in my day,
nobody about it. I didn't want anybody to know that I liked it. I was like embarrassed. And because I babysat some kids when I was like younger, and they had Pokemon Stadium, and I just remember being like, "Hey, do you guys you want to play it? I mean, it's whatever. If you guys want to play it, I'll play it.
It's nap time, crazy.
If you want to play it, I guess I'll play it with you. It's fine. It's okay." But like, I had nobody. I never got a Gengar. I never got an Alakazam because I had nobody to trade them with. Like, so it's crazy now, being able to like talk about it for 2.5 hours with people and like embracing that like this has been such an experience and so joyful. So
even now it's like I know people that like Pokemon and then I'm like, I'm obsessed. you don't understand. I really like it.
I have a Ninetales tattoo permanently etched on my leg. Like exactly. I am in it.
100%. No, so I think that for me it's absolutely a 5. Like the immersion and the experience I had was so fun. Like the hype up to this game was great, and it definitely lived up to the hype too. I think that a lot of it going forward, and it wasn't even a like non-traditional in the sense of it being a different game, but like release, like a January release from Pokemon so early after we just got like the BDSP was interesting too. But it was fantastic. I loved every minute of it. Except fighting Giratina, that was awful. Did not appreciate that.
Honestly, in my pain and suffering, I did love that. I was like, this is challenging.
It's the Dark Souls approach.
Like I said, as much as awesome as it is being able to OHKO everything, it gets a little redundant, and it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna fight you.
The challenge makes your wins feel like they were worth it. It brings levity and weight to the accomplishments that you're making. So I'll give it that.
One of the biggest criticisms that I hear about Pokemon is that it's just too easy. It's too easy. It's like it's a children's game.
Like
not even that. Like even like in Pokemon being it's accessible to children. It's everybody. Like it's an accessible game to everybody. Meaning that if you're 6 or that you're 60, there has to be some kind of accessibility there. If you want a challenge, you can go into competitive. You can breed teams. Like you can go into natures and IVs and EVs. Like there is that aspect of it as well.
Perfect. I also give it a 5. What do you give it, Amy? I'm
5. 5 for sure.
Okay. I just wanted to ask, but I'd already typed in 5 probably before Amy said it.
It's a safe bet.
I'm giving your rating for you. We're giving it a 5.
I mean all those points exactly true. I do. What are your guys' thoughts on it breaking the mold of 2 different games? Like we only have Arceus. We don't have like Diamond and Pearl or Red and Blue.
Oh, you mean being like the mechanic, or rather the
like duo release with different Pokemon in each game or whatever.
I think it was wild to see Dialga and Palkia both in my party.
Yeah, like, exactly. In one game, you're like, wait, that's not how this works.
I've never had both of these.
I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know their mentality behind it either. Maybe because they already had a game come out where there was the 2 copies of it. I or maybe because they couldn't ship another game that also had like Dialga and Palkia on it. I mean, I guess you could do like Giratina and Arceus, but Arceus is kind of a separate entity between those 3. You know, it doesn't like. So maybe that's why. But I didn't see. I'm not a person that usually buys both games. I usually kind of just like I'll buy the one that people want less because then I have more people to trade with.
Exactly.
Like I bought Shield because everyone's like, let's do Sword, and I was like, sweet, I have trading people.
Exactly.
almost exclusively bought the Pokemon games because I like this legendary more than that legendary.
Oh, absolutely.
I bought Red because I liked Charizard much more than I liked the look of Blastoise. I'm very vain when it comes to that kind of stuff. Or like who has the Pokemon that I want? Because obviously there's like version exclusives in all of them. So I would usually get it based on like who I wanted, and it was usually having to pick between like a rock and a hard place. Like you can get Arcanine or you can get Ninetales. You can't have both of them. So to be able to have both of them in a game has been really neat. And I didn't mind that there wasn't two. Like I said, I grew up not being able to trade my Pokemon with anybody, so not having to worry like, about
finally.
I remember when I finally got 2 DSs, I would just trade with myself.
Dude, I would do that.
Hey, there you go.
My brother and I would do the same thing. We would get opposite versions, but one of us would restart a game like 5 times so we could each get all of the starters.
Yeah. It's interesting though with this game specifically because I mean naturally the two games build interaction between players because there's specifics for each game, so that requires players to interact with each other and have a conversation about it, where this game doesn't necessarily have that but still creates that dialogue and still creates that conversation, which is interesting. I mean probably because it is so different from the mold of the rest of the games and the franchise.
Now, there is no battling, but there is trading. But they kind of also removed the need for trading because
with the linking cord or whatever.
Yeah, they have the evolutionary items, and at the end after you beat the main story, you can get all of the starting Pokemon. You just go talk to the professor, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what to do with these 2. You want them?" I was like, "Yes."
Sure.
Also, thank you, Amy, because I didn't even know that until I was watching her stream, and I was like, "What? You could do that?" And then awesome. I didn't know that you could encounter the starters in the rifts.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I was like in another Discord, and I was like, "Hey, anyone have a spare Rowlet they want to trade me? Because I fully evolved mine without getting level 10 in my Pokédex." And they're like, "Oh, you can just run into those in the rifts." And I was like, "What? Are you serious?"
You can do what now?
Yeah, so that stuff's really cool. Also, totally explains how like some of the entries are like you need to evolve or catch 5 Duats, and I'm like, how do I do that?
How?
Right. Explain yourself.
Yes. Yeah, so 5s cross the board, obviously. And then last but not least, I believe probably the quickest because we've spent 2 hours and 41 minutes talking about how much fun we've had this game, but we have the fun factor.
I give it a 1.
Yes. 0 out of 10.
I give it a 1 thumb up for how fun it is. Where's my camera? There's my thumb.
Yes, it's a little blurry though, so
it's okay.
I'm glad you held it up and not like lower, because then we would have just been like in a very weird spot here. Fun factor, for basically a single player Pokemon game,
it's fun,
super fun. Holy crap! I haven't had this much fun playing, not just a Pokemon game, but I might even venture out to say like game in general in a while. So yeah, straight up 10 out of 10 would recommend and have recommended about 1 trillion times to everyone I know that has a Switch.
Samesies.
It's fun. I think even if you don't, like you said, no Pokemon, like you'll still have fun playing it. Like if this is your first Pokemon game, it's still gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun RPG, you know.
Right. Yeah. It's still a fun game, even if you're not into Pokemon.
Yes, for sure. So yeah, shortest of the categories, but I mean self-explanatory.
Yes.
So I think what do we got? We had 1, 2, 3 5s, a 3, a 3.5, and a 4. So if we're gonna average this out, I would say probably like 4, maybe even borderline 4.5. I guess I could actually do math and find out the average, but I would say it's a pretty highly rated game at the end of the day. I think that's all you guys need to know.
Yeah, that's what I like doing. I usually don't like love attaching like numbers to games because a 10 for one game can be completely different from a 10 to another game. That's why like with our show too, we like, would I recommend this or not? And with this game, 100%, like play this game. Whether you like Pokemon, whether it's your first time playing Pokemon, it's a fun RPG and you'll have a good time.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think we've ever actually like rated anything on our show. This is like our first attempt to using this like rubric, so to speak. We've done a couple episodes on individual games and our experiences with them, but this is the first time we're trying this out, and I kind of liked it. But I did the math, and it's 4.25. So if you're wondering out there, yeah, I think the three of us all agree that this is. We all would highly recommend, and you need
most
to play
definitely.
If you have a Switch, this is like a game that I even have told Nick, who does not own a Switch, and I think I'm close to convincing him to get a Lite, and just like this is a game that is 100% justifiable.
Yeah,
for you to go buy a Switch just to play this game.
Yeah,
it's on the level of like an Uncharted or The Last of Us or. I'm not an Xbox guy, so insert
Halo.
Xbox exclusive, Halo.
Yeah,
sure,
Halo's been the big one, I think. Not anymore.
But yeah, I will. I want to ask one question before we wrap up because I know it's getting late and we're 2 hours 45 minutes here. But this is like an average episode length for us, by the way. So I apologize for you two who are not used to these marathons.
I mean, I've enjoyed all of this, so I'm not
honestly,
mad.
we could probably talk for another 3 hours of Pokemon, and I would have things
I also
to say.
don't work tomorrow, so
perfect. Lucky you. And Jared's over on the West Coast, so it's like 8 o'clock over there.
Yeah,
and I'm like about to pass out because it's almost midnight. But
I've been up since like 5:30.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, let me tell you. Having an 8-month old and sleep,
Oof.
doesn't work together.
But yeah, I was grinding because I found a very efficient way to do these Pokédex entries, especially for like the final evolutions where it's like use so many of this move, and then the agile and the power moves. So I've got like a system down where like I can knock one out in like half hour, 45 minutes, or whatever. But in doing that, I try to go into areas that I haven't really played much in because while I'm grinding the combat objectives, I'm doing it on Pokemon that I need to defeat by certain moves.
Oh, so you're getting kind of 2 birds, 1 stone.
Double whammy.
Yeah,
so the other day I was because you have to complete the Pokédex entries for the 3 like genie looking weather legendaries.
Yeah.
And of course I didn't stop there. I just entered them.
Yeah.
But in doing that, I did all 3 at the same time before going back to the professor. And in the grind, I think it caps you at like new research tasks or whatever at 99 on your journal because I know it was sitting at 99 for a very long time. And I got like almost 3,000 research points towards my star rank.
Oh my God.
That's how you have to do it.
It was insane. But let me tell you, I'm still only like a third of the way through rank 9. That is many points.
Yeah,
I'm like halfway through 8, and it's just like, those last 3 are a grind.
Yes. And that's another cool mechanic that we didn't talk about the research stars. I don't even know what you would call them. But like how they unlock new
Star
items,
rank.
new Pokeballs and stuff like that. Super cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll wrap up here. Oh, we didn't even talk about the DLC. Quick thoughts.
On board.
Do you think we're gonna get some Pokemon Day coming up here on Sunday, or?
I've heard rumors though about like a new gen too, because it's the last one was Sword and Shield, which how long ago?
If we're going on the 3-year cycle, which is their typical thing.
I think it was ever since like the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire remake or something that it was every 3 years we got a new generation, and this year's 3 years since Sword and Shield, which is also wild to think about. Yeah. But I mean, with Arceus being in January, what's their like?
Right.
If they do a DLC that's for middle of the year, June, April, then what are they gonna do for the rest?
Yeah,
do it. Let's go Johto. That's what I want,
dude.
Let's go Johto,
please. Man, I feel like we need to have a part 2 because there's like a whole like speculation section that we need to talk about. Like, where does the Legends series go from here? What would we like to see? I'm really thinking we're gonna have to do a part 2 sometime.
Yeah, if you want to bring me back on to talk about Pokemon, I will.
You're gonna twist my arm.
Twist my arm, man. Jeez, I would love to speculate because you're right. The Legends series, it seems like it's Legends and then subtitle Arceus, meaning there's might be more of them in other variations and other forms.
Well, there are like new Legends that they have introduced, and it's just been like just a little bit like what's his Zeraora, like that's such a cool looking Pokemon, and I know little to nothing about it.
Or Zygarde, they did nothing with Zygarde. Poor Zygarde got no love.
Yeah, no love. I think he was in the was it the show or a movie? There was something with him in it. I remember
he was in the TV show, but it's like,
is that what it was? Yeah. Yeah. There's so many Legends that they've like, or like that Marshadow.
Yeah.
That they kind of we like. He's there. There he is.
Yeah. Have fun with him. Goodbye.
Yeah, this is a thing.
Yeah, dude. I have so much to say about that, but that's like another 2 hours, and I'm not going to do that.
Exactly.
I want a Ho-Oh. I want a Legends Ho-Oh.
Yes.
The lore of Ho-Oh and like the 3 legendary dog things would be
Johto
so cool
would be perfect for this.
Oh yes, Suicune, Articuno, Suicune. Oh yeah, Suicune, Entei, and Raikou would be so cool to get their backstory because is very tragic.
Yeah, the whole like, I wish I had appreciated Gold and Silver more.
Oh, like when that's my favorite. Those are my favorite.
Yeah, I wish I would have appreciated it more.
I like Gold and Silver. It has the same problem as Diamond and Pearl, where they don't give you good Pokemon hardly ever. You're still running into a lot of the same stuff come the end of the game. But I love it. Yeah. It's a great world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's the one where you could go back to Kanto, couldn't you?
That was cool. Yeah. Getting 16 badges and exploring 2 regions was super cool.
Right. That was amazing. And I thought that the idea of having the Legends where you could encounter them and they're like, peace.
They're running, run away, and you're like,
was neat.
For sure.
Yeah, we can talk about Pokemon forever, so if you want us back.
Yes. Also, good reason to watch the upcoming Lock series, because I'm sure we'll get into conversations while we're playing that.
Absolutely.
I did forget we have our Answer the Boys segment every week where we throw up our topic in the Discord and ask you for your thoughts and opinions on the topic for the week. And we got 2 replies. The first one from Kaylee Kane. Short response: money and time hold me back from playing it. I like the devs enough to not sail the high seas for a bit of a 5-finger discount on the product, so I will wait with patience and grace. Thank you, sir. I'm sure they appreciate that. And then JDog586 says, I'm not a huge fan of the newer generation 3D Pokemon games. They lack something, in my opinion. Plus, there's the money thing. I understand the money thing, but I will fight you about at least Arceus. It's probably the best Pokemon game ever. But yeah, thank you guys. I know it's like a short, abridged version of Answer the Boys, but we always appreciate your replies, and we love talking about them on the show. If you haven't already, join our Discord. It's a fun place. Best place to stay in touch with Showboys and keep up to date on what's going on with us. Subscribe to Peaceloveames on YouTube. Follow her on Twitch and Twitter and all the other things. I believe Peaceloveames on everything.
I think so.
Her YouTube channel you can find as a featured channel on our YouTube page. So scroll down at the bottom and just give a little click and then subscribe. And then Jared, why don't you go ahead and plug your shows?
That's the wrong way.
I do that all the time.
There you go.
We've been live streaming.
Confident. It was slowly coming up, and I was like waiting for my time, and I was like, "Oh, that's the wrong direction."
Dang it!
I don't know. I don't even know how long we've been live streaming like this, and I still mess that up when I try to point at Nick.
Here,
always point the wrong
Follow
direction.
me on Twitter. Follow the podcast, Play Along Pod on everything, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. We're everywhere. We're on any podcasting platform too, so go listen to our show.
Yes, and you just started Discord too.
Yes, we started Discord.
We'll throw all that stuff, all the links to all the things in our episode description for you guys for easy clicking around. Yes, we're gonna throw on the song that played you guys in. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we hope you have a wonderful evening.
Peace out.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
So, We
I was
usually
just vibing.
I was
I love it so much.
I'm glad
So
you guys
good.
like that song.
So
but
good.
yes. Usually here at the end of our episode, we like to have a fun little Easter egg, us goofing around or whatever. But in light of the events of today, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, I know personally it's kind of like, giving me a heavy heart today. It's been weighing on me. And I just wanted to say something. I didn't know when to do it, so we thought we'd do it here. I think obviously thoughts and prayers, best wishes go out to the people of Ukraine and all those that are affected. I don't personally know anyone, but I know that there's people here who have family over there, or just the people that are going through this invasion. It's insane. And I think I just wanted to say that I think we can all agree, no matter what side of the political aisle you fall on, that we are truly blessed to live in a place like America where we don't have to worry about things like living in fear constantly, day to day, that we're going to be invaded, that we don't have bomb sirens in our towns that we're anxiously and fearfully awaiting to go off. I just wanted to make sure that us as Americans who live in this great country, albeit sometimes hey, we got our problems, let's not get that but the fact that we have the freedoms that we do and the ability to jump online for 3 hours and talk about Pokemon and not have to worry about our city being bombed in an air raid is pretty fantastic. And sometimes that gets hidden behind mean tweets or socioeconomic problems, and I don't know, like there's a lot of trivial stuff that happens that sometimes allows us to overlook things like this. And I don't know, just take a second and think about what's going on, and educate yourself.
Absolutely.
Tune in to what's going on in the world, because there is a world out there outside of our comfort bubble. And I just feel really bad for what's going on. And I just wanted to say that. I don't know, you guys can say something if you want. You don't have to, but I just wanted to get that out there.
It's wild.
Insane. It doesn't seem real. It's like one of those things that you hear about it, you study it, and you never think that it's something that you yourself are gonna
experience in your lifetime.
Exactly.
Well, like you were saying, Mike, it's really easy to get caught up in all of the pleasantries that we have, and take those for granted, and not keep a fine eye, or at least educate ourselves with things that are happening around our world, because there is a world, like you were saying, that's out there,
right?
And there's a lot of things that are happening out there. So just like you were saying, educate yourself, learn about things, and be grateful, because it's the fact that we can sit here and talk about this and not have to have any of those worries is 100% a blessing.
Yeah. On that note, have a nice night and stay safe out there. Love you guys.
Bye.